just want to check in. Okay, hearing nothing, we'll go ahead and do some announcements here. Remember, as I've been saying all along, we got a Zoom meeting tomorrow night. Check the club website, or you can check the, actually the club website is CRARCHAM.org. We're getting that thing built up fairly well. You can, it's got a calendar on it that tells you upcoming events and stuff like that. The meeting will be at 7:30 tomorrow evening. Check the website or check the Facebook group, and the link will be there. Also coming up, we got the Christmas party, which I didn't think we'd ever get here, to be honest about it. But we will be meeting at the Wing Warehouse on Wyaga Lake Road in Stowe. The address is 4165 Wyaga Lake. We're going to start meeting there. We'll start drifting in about 6, hopefully start ordering by 6:30, and dinner will be up by 7. It's just going to be for a little get-together so we can celebrate Christmas together as a new club. So hopefully all y'all can be there, and even if you haven't joined our club, you're welcome to come to the party. Let me break for time here. You're welcome to come to the party, even though because we haven't really just started to take dues yet. As far as our financial year is not going to start till January, and the membership year is not going to start till February. So, if you want, we figured we'd give everybody a couple of months to check us out and see what we're about. So, if you'd like to come to the party, you're welcome to. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and close and get ready to close the net. Let's make sure there's nobody else out there that wants to check in. If you've just found us and would like to check in with us, please call KE8YXE. Okay, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. In preparing to close this net, I'd like to thank everybody that took the time out of their busy day to come in and check us out and give us a check-in. Without your participation, there would have been no net. And hopefully this is going to be a thing in the process to W8WKY. I will go ahead and close the net with 10 check-ins, including myself. This is Kilo Echo 8, Yankee X-Ray Echo, closing the net at, looks like, it's not bad, 23 minutes after, 7:23 p.m. local time, and we'll see you all next week, 7-3.
Amateur radio newsline will start in 5 minutes.
Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2405 with a release date of Friday, December 1st, 2023. To follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. A massive fire ravages Nikola Tesla's last remaining laboratory. Hams in India help track down a child's life-saving but unavailable medicine. And if you believe in Santa, you may just hear him on the air. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2405 comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's independent, on-the-air news and bulletin service. And now reporting from Valparaiso, Indiana, here's Paul Brown, WD9GCO.
We begin this week's report with news of a fire that nearly destroyed a historic landmark with a long-standing connection to radio and innovation. Kevin Trotman, N5PRE, has the details.
In New York, a raging fire swept through the last remaining laboratory of Nikola Tesla, where a massive redevelopment began 3 years ago to create a science center and a hub of amateur radio activity and education. Mark Alessi, the nonprofit center's executive director, said at a press conference on November 28 that the authorities have ruled out arson and are still investigating the cause. The historically significant laboratory building itself, set on a 15-acre site on Long Island, sustained damages of at least $3 million from the November 21st fire. A worldwide fundraising effort on Indiegogo has begun for the lab, which the Serbian-born scientist used in the early 1900s. This fundraising is separate from the already $20 million raised for the renovation, an effort that is still $6 million short of its goal. Amateur Radio Club N2TSC will be housed in the Visitor Center, a different building from the devastated lab. Ed Wilson, N2XDD, the club's president, told Newsline that the Visitor Center was not damaged by the blaze, which drew the response of more than 100 volunteer firefighters from the surrounding community. Plans continue to go forward for the site's overall redevelopment as an educational and community resource, but it's not clear how far back the original opening date of late 2025 will be delayed. I'm Kevin Trotman, N5PRE.
Hams in India raced the clock to help locate and deliver medicine in short supply to a critically ill little girl. John Williams, VK4JJW, tells how they did it.
Working under a critically short deadline and across the borders of several nations, Hams in India were able to locate a medicine that's vital to a 7-year-old girl in neighboring Bangladesh, who was hospitalized for a neurological disorder. The medicine was in her doctor's hands within 48 hours of being found. The girl's parents had been told by doctors at Dhaka Medical College and Hospital that they were in short supply of the antiviral drug that was successfully treating their daughter, and that no stock of the drug could be found elsewhere in the country at present. The girl's father told the Times of India that he promptly launched a search by contacting Rahat Khan, S21DI, an amateur radio operator in Bangladesh. Rahat put out a call to his network of ham contacts in neighboring countries, all to no avail. In India, hams in the West Bengal Radio Club found an alternative of the brand in the state of Kerala, but it was not clear whether the girl would respond to that drug. The necessary brand was at last located in New Delhi by one of the newest members of the club, Nayan Drath Jana, a student of the Indian Academy of Communication and Disaster Management. According to the club secretary, Ambarish Nag Biswas, BU2JFA, the hams then tracked down someone at the New Delhi airport who was preparing to return home to Bangladesh and who agreed to transport the medicine. The girl's father met the passenger at the airport in Dhaka. The girl received the treatment on Friday, November 24th. This is John Williams, VK4JJW.
There is still time to comment on an FCC proposal that would remove the baud rate limitation for the 2200-meter band and the 630-meter band. The agency has said it would like input on what the appropriate bandwidth limitation might be set instead. In making this proposal, the FCC acknowledges previous comments that have been received underscoring public safety benefits for radio communications during emergencies, such as natural disasters. The FCC is also proposing to maintain existing bandwidth limitations on the VHF and UHF bands. This is the latest action by the Commission, which recently established a bandwidth limitation of 2.8 kilohertz for digital transmissions on certain amateur radio HF bands eliminating the long-standing baud rate limitation on those bands. In other news in Washington, D.C., the FCC has received a document from SpaceX in which the company gives assurances that its cellular Starlink system does not pose a hazard to other radio signals. More on that from CellMB, KB3 TZD.
Responding to an FCC request for details about radio interference hazards posed by its Starlink system, the company has submitted a 16-page document to the agency explaining why ground-based and satellite services will not face interference from its operation. The FCC had requested the detailed analysis. SpaceX said that its direct-to-cell system uses software that prevents radio interference, and in any case, transmissions can also still be individually turned off if it occurs. The Starlink system of satellites has been compared to cellular towers in orbit. T-Mobile is its first partner in the venture and will be using frequencies between 1.91 gigahertz and 1.995 gigahertz for customers' transmissions. Questions about interference have been raised before. An Australia-based astronomy team recently published a study that they say links unintended emissions from the SpaceX array of satellites to interference with the low-frequency VHF radio antennas used to study the universe. I'm CellMB, KB3 TZD.
Are you looking out for the International Space Station? NASA has just made it even easier. Andy Morrison, K9AWM, tells us how. If you have the International Space Station in your sights, figuratively of course, because you're hoping for a contact, there's a new option to help you spot the ISS more easily. NASA has released a new version of their Spot the Station mobile application that is downloadable from either Google Play or the Apple Store. If the station is passing overhead, you'll get notified in time to try for the APRS or voice repeater in time. Although NASA is still sending alerts by email and text messages, the new app allows users to see predictions of visible passes. You can also set alarms that allow you to be on time to catch the ISS when it arrives in sight. Visit spotthestation.nasa.gov for more details. This is Andy Morrison, K9AWM. It may be December, but it's not too early to start thinking about July, because that means Youth on the Air Camp. And this year, the young amateurs are headed to Nova Scotia, Canada. Jack Parker, W8ISH, shares the details.
Even though the temperatures are dropping and snow has already fallen in some parts of the world, young radio amateurs in North, Central, and South America are getting ready for warmer days ahead at Youth on the Air Camp. It's taking place July 7th through the 12th at the Mount St. Vincent University campus in Halifax, Nova Scotia. The camp is being hosted by Radio Amateurs of Canada. The application period is now open. Licensed amateurs between the ages of 15 and 25 are being encouraged to complete the application form online by the 15th of January. It can be found on youthontheair.org. Campers will be notified of their selection by the 1st of February. There are allocated slots for applicants in each of the Americas to encourage as wide an attendance as possible. Any remaining free places after the January deadline can still be applied for up until the 31st of May. As many as 50 campers will be accepted. Because COVID is still a concern, organizers will be monitoring changes in guidelines for masking and vaccinations. For details about cost, travel arrangements, and other details, visit the Youth on the Air Camp website or contact Camp Director Neil Rapp, WB9VPG, at director@youthontheair.org. This is Jack Parker, W8ISH.
There's still plenty for youngsters to do on the air in the meantime. Starting December 1st, hams around the world who are aged 25 and younger will be making Yoda Month by using call signs ending in YOTA, trying to beat last year's final tally of 107,845 QSOs. As the month wraps up, don't miss the Yoda contest on December 30th. For complete details, visit the website events.ham-yoda.com. Be listening next week when Amateur Radio Newsline announces this year's recipient of the International Newsmaker of the Year Award. We launched this award in 2019 with our editorial staff recognizing the individuals, groups, or formal clubs who have spent the previous year bringing amateur radio into the spotlight, showing its positive values and contributions to the community. We are broadening the awards scope this year by acknowledging that the dissemination of information to the public about amateur radio's impact no longer relies solely on mainstream media. We are very proud of this year's winner, who you will get to meet very soon. It's time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the WB0YLE repeater on Wednesdays at 7 p.m., through Allstar in Morrisville, Pennsylvania, and Fall River, Massachusetts. With the help of a waiver from the FCC, hams in the U.S. will be able to contact military stations in an exercise marking Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day. Kent Peterson, KC0DGY, has that story.
In the United States, hams have been granted an opportunity to mark National Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day by communicating directly with stations of the U.S. military through cross-band operations. The FCC has issued a waiver to permit such radio communications from December 6th through the 9th, on the occasion of the 82nd anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor during World War II. Legal two-way communications with federal stations is highly unusual for amateur radio. FCC regulations typically permit this on only one other occasion, the annual Armed Forces Day Communications Test. Participating hams will be monitoring 3 federal frequencies, but are to respond on parts of the bands assigned to amateurs. In approving the request from the ARRL, the FCC said the waiver serves an important purpose on a day of great historical significance. The FCC said, quote, "This day has a historic significance and emphasizes the importance of reliable communications and the need to be vigilant in international defense," end quote. To see a link in the FCC's limited waiver, follow the link in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. This is Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
Christmas time is a time of tradition, and for radio enthusiasts in Sweden, there are few traditions more loved and anticipated than hearing a Christmas message sent via a transmitter that is fast approaching its 100th year. Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, explains.
The pride of the pioneering Swedish engineer Ernst Alexandersson, his 200 kilowatt high-frequency alternator, built in 1924, has a Christmas message to deliver to the world this year as in previous years. On Christmas Eve morning, Sunday the 24th of December, the radio station in Grimeton, with the call sign SAQ, will deliver the words in the holiday spirit in CW at 0800 UTC at 17.2 kilohertz. Those of us who cannot be present can still watch the historic transmitter and hear its message being sent during a live stream on the SAQ Grimeton YouTube channel. The transmitter's startup will also be live streamed starting half an hour before the message. There are also many ways to listen, but because there are few radios capable of directly receiving the transmitter's frequency, there are internet receivers and other options available. See the link in the text version of this week's newscast to discover other ways to tune in. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
Australia's robust universe of community radio stations teaches through a volunteer organization known as Technorama, which provides solid footing in broadcast technology to those working behind the scenes. Technorama is now hoping to expand its historical partnership with amateur radio, and it's considered a natural, mutually beneficial relationship, as we hear from Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
Technorama has big plans that don't end when its annual 3-day gathering in Sydney concludes on December 3. The Broadcast Skill Building non-profit organisation is cultivating a partnership between Australia's more than 460 community broadcasting stations and the country's amateur radio operators. Broadcast engineer John Maisels, VK2JPM, a Technorama founder and immediate past president, says the unifying elements between the two worlds, such as transmitters, antennas, generators, RF, means that hams of these broadcasters have much to offer one another. There is a history of cross-pollination here that dates back to community's radio birth in the 1970s, when hams assisted the burgeoning broadcasters, and John believes that relationship will go much further. Technorama is already planning to hold its first formal radio tech training sessions in more than 3 decades, inviting radio amateurs to join the broadcasters to sign up and learn and to be amongst those teaching. He says that community radio stations are, and I quote, just like amateur radio, just on steroids, end quote. Likewise, he said ham radio classes can benefit community broadcasters. He told Newsline in a phone call that it's been a squandered opportunity. He said that building stronger bridges in both directions can fill the needs of both communities. This is Graham Kemp, Victor Kilo 4, Baker Baker.
In the world of DX, fans of the world's longest-running science fiction TV show, Doctor Who, will be listening for special call signs starting with GB0 WHO through GB9 WHO until the 20th of December. The cult series marked its 60th anniversary on the 23rd of November. The show's original 694 episodes ran steadily until 1989, but it was revived, much to fans' delight, in 2005. See QRZ.com for QSL details. We remind listeners that the Advent Award for Bunkers on the Air in the UK is now underway until the 25th of December. Activators as well as hunters, including shortwave listeners, are eligible. Participants need to use the special Advent Calendar Award claim tracker to be eligible. See the website bunkersontheair.org under the Downloads tab for more details. That's Bunkers on the Air, one word. For our final story, we will look at Santa Claus. Okay, if you're a grown-up, he's not really big news, or news at all, but if you're a youngster or even a grown-up who loves a little holiday magic, you'll be listening for Santa on the Air. Here's Jim Dameron, N8TMW, to help us tune him in.
Like radio waves themselves, Santa Claus is everywhere. While you can't see him, you can definitely hear him or one of his helpers as amateurs around the world return this year with a different kind of on-the-air scheme. Santa on the Air. Hams in the Longmont Amateur Radio Club and the Northern Colorado Amateur Radio Club are giving local kids a chance to visit with Santa through the 10th of December every night between 0000 and 0200 UTC on a number of local repeaters. Lucky kids will be able to log a contact with Mr. and Mrs. Santa. Both Mr. and Mrs. Claus are using the call sign N0P. In Ireland, the Shannon Basin Radio Club is putting Santa on the air on Saturday, December 9th on the EI2 SBC repeater. At this time of the year, the call sign stands for Echo Icicle 2, Santa Before Christmas. Santa is also on the HF bands. Check-ins begin on the Santa Net every evening at 7 p.m. Central Time on 3916 kilohertz, ending on Christmas Eve. The net is operated by the 3916 nets. Their website, cqsanta.com, has additional information about how to check in before the net gets started. A little closer to the North Pole, OH9SCL has turned its toy workshop into a shack in northern Finland to prepare for QSOs from around the world. All the HF bands are expected to light up like, well, a Christmas tree. As they've done since 1986, local hams will be on the air calling QRZ from Lapland. As always, check the QRZ.com page for any of these call signs to get QSL information and other details. The magic of radio is about to add to the magic of the season. And let's face it, it's all for a good cause. This is Jim Dameron, N8TMW.
If you have a piece of amateur radio news that you think Newsline would be interested in, send it on. Now, we're not talking about advertising your club's upcoming Hamfest or field day participation, but something that's out of the ordinary. If so, send us a brief overview via the contact page at arnewsline.org. If it's newsworthy and we would like to cover it, we'll get back to you for more details. Meanwhile, if you're feeling even a little bit poetic, visit our website to learn more about the Amateur Radio Newsline Haiku Challenge. With thanks to Amateur Radio Daily, the ARRL, CQ Magazine, David Behar, K7DB, Ed Wilson, W2XDD, the FCC, 425DX News, John Meisels, VK2JPM, QRZ.com, PC Magazine, Radio World, shortwaveradio.de, The Statesman, The Times of India, Wireless Institute of Australia, YouTube, youth on the air, and you, our listeners. That's all for the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer, nonprofit organization that does incur expenses for continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org and know that we appreciate you all. We also remind our listeners that if you like our newscast, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Paul Brown, WD9GCO in Valparaiso, Indiana, saying 73. As always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2023. All rights reserved. W8WKY.
the weekly Serenet, featuring club news, trivia, and check-ins from some of the nicest hams in the universe starts in 5 minutes. Get ready for the weekly SaraNet starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, yeah, it's Tuesday night, and good evening, Sarah and friends. Yeah, CQ, this is W8WKY calling CQ for the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association Tuesday Night Net. My name is Gary. The personal call is AA8CS, and I'll be your net control this evening using the club call W8WKY when I can remember. We meet on this repeater every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. and encourage all amateurs to participate. This is Controlled Net. Please direct all traffic through net control. As always, priority or emergency traffic may break into this net at any time. Tonight, as we normally do, we will take in and out traffic first, followed by a round of regular check-ins. And we'll turn it over to me, a trivial runner-up, and that would be me, for tonight's trivia question. Before we get started, maybe a couple of announcements. Let's see what we got. First and foremost, we have our annual holiday party coming up day after tomorrow, Thursday night, December 7th, at the Eagles in Wadsworth. It's going to be a great time. I am pleased that we have such a north of 60 coming, so it's going to be a fine showing and a good time.
W8WKY.
Also, we had a VE session last weekend. I'm not sure if Stefan's with us, but if Stefan or Jerry or anybody's out there that would like to give us a report on the VE session, come now.
Whiskey Victor 3 Kilo, WV3K, Phil from Canal Fulton. Hello, Mike.
Hello, Phil. WV3K. This is AA8CS. Go ahead with your report.
Well, as usual, and nothing least to be expected, Stefan and the group, Jerry and Kurt, along with myself and the testees, they all had done a wonderful job, all of us together. And it was a wonderful time. We had a little extended time based on lateness of one of the students that needed to get off the job to make it over to the test session. But it was a beautiful day, and it was a smooth operation. I will say, however, I did have need to have Stefan and Kurt, and also I had to have the gang work along with me to help keep me aligned on some of the things that I was losing sight on. I was having some focus problems. But other than that, I mean, we did really well, and it was a fun time being together. We had a great time. So anyway, my thanks to the entire team, and what a beautiful job they have done. Stefan is fantastic, and he kept me cornered and edged real nice on following through with the processes that he has to put together real well. And there are some things that even after 30-some years that I've been doing some of this stuff, I never sat in his seat. And knowing the details, I think, is something that we're going to come up. And I think Stefan had made mention that he wants to bring this to to site for the entire the Sarah club, so that we can get more VEs registered and working together to know all the details that the commission has made changes over the many years here. So we can get this clear. This will make it easy for everybody to operate smoothly. And if somebody needs to take over to cover someone who might become ill or needs to take time off or whatever, why, we can do it without concern of having to refresh while we're on station to do the job. So with that, Mikey, I'm going to turn it back over to you. I'm finished for this evening. And please have a wonderful evening and a great net. This is Whiskey Victor, 3 Kilo, Phil and Canal Fulton. And I will be clear with the net and all the guys and gals on the net. Lots of love and blessings from both my wife and I. And you guys have a great net. Take care, Mikey. Back to WWKY Net Control, WV3K.
All right, Phil, thank you very much for that. And we'll whatever Stefan thinks he needs, we'll address it. That's for sure. All right, thanks for that. I assume folks got what they came for. And that's always a good thing. So thanks to everyone on the VE team that makes all of that happen. We certainly appreciate that. That's really all I have. The Christmas holiday party is coming up, but does anybody else have any other announcements for the group tonight? If so, please come now. All right. As I mentioned, we'll do in and out traffic first, followed by a round of regular check-ins. When checking in, please give me your call sign, your name, and your location. At this time, I'll take in and out traffic for the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association Tuesday night net. Please call W8WKY.
November 8th, Whiskey Sugar, Phil in New London, in and out.
Whiskey 8, Charlie Tango Mike, Carriot, Portage Lakes, in and out.
Kilo Bravo 8, Victor Hotel Mike, Tommy Green, in and out.
Kilo Echo 8, Tango Lima Bravo, KE8, PLB, Randy and Ripman. I'll be in and out 73, and God bless.
November 8th, Delta Romeo Delta, and N8DRD, Don and Marshallville, in and out.
KE8, IME, David, Sterling, Ohio, in and out.
Kilo Echo 8, Juliet November Hotel, Doug and Ripman, in and out.
Here is KB8 LNK, Ron and Orville, be in and out tonight.
All right, let me pick it up. Okay, we have WV3K Phil, N8WS, W8CPM. Tom, VHM, I missed your prefix. Can you come back with that, please?
Sure, that was Kilo Bravo 8.
All righty, sir. Thank you for that. KB8VHM, I have you in and out as well. Randy, KE8TLB, good to hear you, my friend. I have you in and out. N8RDR, KE8IME, KE8JNH. Doug, thanks for doing the VE session on Saturday. We appreciate that. You and Bill Knopf do a fabulous job, and we certainly appreciate that. And KB8LNK, Ron, good evening to you, and I have you in and out. Any other in and out traffic? Please call W8WKY.
Kilo Echo 8 Victor Oscar X-Ray KE8 VOX Scott. I'll be in and out tonight, Gary.
Whiskey Victor 3 Kilo, recheck, please.
All right, we picked up Scott, KE8V, and recheck with Phil, WV3K. Go ahead.
AHCS, Whiskey Victor 3 Kilo. Gary, I'm so sorry. I thought I was speaking with Mike. Anyway, my deepest apologies. And it's Kurt, and along with Jerry, that I worked alongside with Stefan, and they were just totally awesome. My apologies. So back to you, Gary, and thank you for being on station tonight to work with all of us to enjoy the net. Sorry about my misgivings. WV3K, I am clear, and thank you, and God bless.
No worries, Phil. I answer to just about anything, for sure. How's that go? Just don't call me late for dinner. There you have it. Okay, last call for in and out traffic. If you would like to just check in and say howdy, now's your opportunity. In and out traffic, last call.
W.
NU8Y, in and out.
All right, we picked up NU8Y, November Uniform 8, Yankee. Good evening to you. Thanks for stopping by and saying hello. We appreciate that. Okay, we'll move on from in and out traffic to regular check-ins. If you'd like to join us for a fabulous trivia question, I mean, it's my trivia question tonight. Not nearly as good as when Eric's doing it, but nevertheless, it'll be me, all me. So if you'd like to join us for the trivia question and shoot the bull or whatever else you want to shoot, come on down. This is AAHCS looking for regular check-ins.
Kilo Delta 8 Echo Papa Charlie KD8 EPC Dustin and Medina.
Kilo Echo 8 Quebec Kilo Oscar K8 QKO Nick and Akron.
November Tango 8 Delta NTAD David come.
Ethan and Manaway. AA8CS, this is Kilo Echo 8 Victor Quebec X-Ray. KE8 VQX Joe and Akron.
Kilo Echo 8
W8
Uniform India Bravo
This is Kilo Delta 8
UIB
Sierra Lima
John
Golf
in Massillon.
KD8 SLG Nick in Orville.
Kilo Alpha 8 Mike November Tango Tom in Canton.
Kilo Echo 8 Victor Zulu Alpha Eric in Strongsville.
This is WO3X Whiskey Oscar 3 X-Ray John in Cuyahoga Falls.
This is Kilo Bravo 1 Juliet Lima Radio Erskine in Madeline.
KD8YUK Lucy short time.
Kilo Echo 8 Zulu Hotel Golf. This is Doug in Norton.
Kilo Echo 8 Uniform India Bravo KE8 UIB John in Massillon.
I have Dustin's in there. Hey, thank you for stopping by there, Dustin. You took my warning to heart, I guess. KD8ETC was in there. KE8QKO in TAD. Let's see. Ethan, you're in there as well. Let's see. I got your call here someplace. WVV. KE8WVV. And we have KE8VQX, KE8UIB, KD8SLG, K88MNT, KE8VZA, WO3X, my favorite zero station, KB1JLR, KE8YUK, short time, we'll get right to you, Lucy, hang on, and KE8ZHG. Okay, not too awfully bad. Might have missed one or two. There was a couple doubles in there. If I missed you, come on back.
W8WKY, this is K5CFY, Ray in Tulsa.
Kilo Charlie 3, Quebec November Delta, Cheney, KC3, QND, North Ridgeville.
Kilo Charlie 8, Hotel Delta Papa, KC8, HDP, Jerry in Shreve.
Kilo Golf 4, Sierra Charlie Kilo, KG4 SCK, Copley, the 14th colony.
Well, KC8, FQV, up in Aurora. Aurora Lights, KC8, FQV, Mark.
Kilowatt 8, Alpha, Mike, X-Ray. Dick and beautiful downtown Firestone Park.
All right, nicely done, everybody. We picked up ZHG, Zulu Hotel Golf, and I can't wait to say this. You ready? Everybody ready? K5CFY. Hey, how you doing, Ray? Good to hear you. KC3QND, Jeannie's in there. KC8HDP. Yeah, that's how you check into a net. KG4SCK, KC8FQV, and K8AMX, living the dream in beautiful downtown Firestone Park. All right, nicely done, everybody. I got to tell you, let's go to a trivia question. What do you say? So this trivia question is kind of dear to my heart. The reason for going with it was this was a project that my late father and I did. It was the last thing that we did as a team together. We built a set of near-field speakers, high-fidelity speakers. My dad was very good at woodwork, and I did the crossover and the speakers, and yeah, it was really a pretty cool project, and I hold them dear. Yeah, my dad was really good with his hands. So anyway, therefore the impetus on tonight's trivia question, and here it goes. The term near-field in near-field high-fidelity speakers refers to their optimal listening distance. What is the primary reason for positioning these speakers in close proximity to the listeners, or to the listener. The choices: Alpha, to minimize room acoustics interference. B, Bravo, to enhance bass response. C, to reduce speaker distortion. D, to improve stereo imaging. And there you have it. One more time real quick. The term near-field in near-field high-fidelity speakers refers to their optimal listening distance. What is the primary reason for positioning these speakers in close proximity to the listener? Letter A, minimize room acoustics interference. To enhance bass response is choice B. Choice C, to reduce speaker distortion. Choice D, Delta, to improve stereo imaging. And there you have it. All right, let's get today's show on the road. And here we go. Starting at the top of the list, we have... KD8EPC, Dustin, I think you're first. If you're not, boy, somebody let me know. KD8EPC, AA8CS, doing business as W8WKY.
W8WKY.
W8WKY, this is KD8EPC. Why don't you go ahead and get Miss Lucy? She was short time, K8YUK.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Thanks, Dustin. I forgot. All right, Lucy, take it over. KE8YUK, AA8CS, doing business as W8WKY.
W8WKY, this is KE8YUK, or to make Josh really uncomfortable, KE8YUK. Yeah, I'm short time because Betty needs to go to bed. And so everybody, well, I say everybody, they're back to you earlier with KD8SLG, yourself, and KE8QKO. I was told, that's my thumb. Let me go. I am not friends are not food. Anyway, I was told to check into the club net. So here I am. Hi, everybody. I've got to go put this little beastie into bed where she is going to be so angry, but that's just the way things go. Oh, yeah, trivia, thank you. I'm going to go with, I feel like for the sake of distortion, I think that was C, Charlie. Yeah, speakers can be distorted. I may or may not have blown out my passenger side driver speaker because I enjoy music a little too much, but it's fine. All right, I'm done rambling. Thanks for your time, everybody. Have a great night. Catch you on the Beacon Net tomorrow, and God bless you all. KD8YUK, back to net control.
All right, Lucy, I got to tell you, based on that criteria, I'm short time as well. All right, get the little critter to bed, and you have a fabulous evening. Thanks for stopping by this morning, this evening. I have you down for Charlie. Okay, now we'll go back to the top. I don't think there's any other short time or mobile in the list. So, EPC, take it away. This is AA8CS, doing business as W8WKY. I'll get the groove here in a second.
All right, W8WKY and the net. This is KD8EPC. Well, for the trivia, I really have no idea, so I guess I'm going to try Bravo B tonight for my trivia answer. Otherwise, not a lot going on. Worked earlier, went out and walked around the mall a little bit this evening, and made it home just as Gary was asking for check-in, so perfect timing there. With that, that's about all I've got for you. Make sure you come check out me and Nick tomorrow night at 10 p.m. on the Beacon Net. With that, we'll say 73 and turn it back over to net control.
All right, Dustin. Very good. Thanks for being here this evening. And thanks for taking the warning. If you weren't here, you were in big, big trouble. Just saying. Okay, Dustin, take care. Yeah, we'll be here tomorrow night. Absolutely. KD8EPC will clear with you, and let's pick up Nick, KE8QKO. Nick at night, how you doing?
K8QKO. Good evening, Gary. And I'll tell you, like trivia question. I wish I had waited to check in until after NTAD, Dave, so I'd be able to know I got the right answer. But I'm going to go with Charlie. That's my best guess. And yeah, aside from that, just did some shopping this evening, and running around and kind of catching up on chores, and that's about it for me right now. Getting ready for the holiday season. Hopefully try to get as much done as I can ahead of time. There's always something last minute that I forget. But that's where I'm at. And with that, sir, I'll pass it back to you, K8QKO.
All right, Nick, thank you for being here this evening. And, yeah, it was great talking to you earlier today. That was a lot of fun. We had an intellectual conversation. Yeah, we're talking books. Yeah, Lucy was in there, and Thomas, and, wow, we just had a good time. Yeah, good time. Okay, we'll clear with Nick. Have a terrific evening, Nick, and we'll talk to you again real soon. I do have you down for Charlie. Dave, you're up. NTAD, AA8CS, doing business as W8WKY. I'll get it right eventually.
Hi, Gare. Don't worry about it. Hey, you did a fine job taking check-ins tonight, by the way. Handled all the snarls and knots very nicely. Oh, I got the Vox on the other radio. That's what's clicking. Anyways, having a good day today out in Westlake. Tuned a piano. I love these. The guy bought a piano. It's a Kawai, not a bad piano. It was bought in the 1980s, and it's been tuned since he bought it once. And I guess I gave it its second tuning in 2023. That's how it goes. And I got other calls today and yesterday. Actually, I have to return one of them now. People who have not had their pianos tuned in 2, 3, 4 years, and they want to know if I have an opening before the end of the week. It's very interesting. Humans just amaze me. They're just wonderfully interesting creatures. But 4 years I got my piano tuned, but I need it done tomorrow. Not sure how that works. Anyways, I like your question a lot. Let me get a quick beat. I am willing to bet $1, Gary, that you at one time in your life owned a quadraphonic sound system. And with that being said, I'm going to go with D Delta for my answer to your trivia question. Back to net control. AA8CS doing business at W8WKY. This is NTAD. See you at the Christmas party.
NTAD, this is W8WKY. Dave, I can honestly tell you I never went down the quadraphonic rabbit hole. I just never did that. And I don't know if you've ever played quadraphonic records on a stereo system, but it sounds kind of mushy. Anyway, yeah, no, that was not me. But definitely into the vinyl and analog, and I stream as well. Got a set of Genesis speakers here and a set of near-field speakers that my dad and I made. So, yeah, there you have it. All right, Dave, thanks for being here this evening. I got you down for Delta, and, by the way, thanks for the kind words. I appreciate it. Okay, we'll clear with NTAD. Let's pick up Ethan, KE8WVV. This is W8WKY.
KE8WVV. Well, I'll start with the trivia question. I will say, I forget what letter it is, but I will say that it's so that it doesn't get distorted. Oh dear, got things sliding across the desk. And for my comments today, if anybody's ever seen that meme where it's like they see something gross and they make this really goofy ew noise, I just took apart the rear spur gear housing of my RC car, and it's got like oil and sand and dirt, and I touched it and it just squished, and I just thought of that instantly. So yeah, need a toothbrush over here to clean this. Preferably a used one, not one somebody's using, but a used one. Not a whole lot going on. Just really laying low and, as I said, taking apart my RC car to fix it. Nothing really else, so I'll go ahead and hand it back to Net. 73 is KE8WVV.
W8WKY.
All right, Ethan. Got to tell you, well, first I got you down for Charlie. That was to reduce speaker distortion. Thank you for that answer. And also, you amaze me. You are always doing something with something, and that's really pretty cool. Keep busy and keep learning. There you have it. Nice job, Ethan. All right. Good to hear you this evening, and we appreciate you stopping by and being part of the net and being part of what goes on here on the 3-9. Okay, we'll clear with WVV, and let's pick up Joe, KE8VQX. This is W8WKY. Good evening.
AA8CS, DBA W8WKY. This is Joe, KE8VQX. I'm going to go with B as the trivia question. Back when I was a kid, I had like graphic equalizers and all that stuff, and it was basically all about the bass. So that's my answer. And I will give it back to you, Gary. Thanks for that. This is KE8VQX.
All right, Joe. You know, to a very large degree, it's still all about the bass. KE8VQX got you down for Bravo. Joe, thanks for stopping by this evening. We appreciate it, and just have a fabulous evening, and we'll talk to you again soon. Yeah, real soon, I'm sure. We'll clear with VQX, and oh, yeah, here we go. $5 dream, a nickel at a time. That's what I'm talking about. KE8UIB. What say you?
W8WKY from KE8UIB. Good evening, Gary, and everybody out there on the net. And hope everybody out there is having a terrific Tuesday. And that it is definitely a terrific Tuesday. And the trivia question. Well, my mom's scanning and listening to the net. We're messaging back and forth, and she's saying A for alpha, so I'll go ahead and take A for alpha, and we'll see how that goes. With that, I do hope everybody's having a good evening and stuff as I'm sitting here listening to the net, playing some radio, having a good time, and living the $5 dream a nickel at a time. And with that, this is KE8UIB. I'm going to hand this back over to Net Control. 7-3, y'all. Great net, Gary.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, 73, y'all, right back at you there, John. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of this Mosley crew. We appreciate it, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Got your mom down for alpha. Yeah, that's what I have. All right, we'll clear with UIB, and let's pick up. Wow, we couldn't possibly be at the back of the bus already, could we? KD8SLG, W8WKY. What say you, sir?
W8WKY. This is KD8SLG. Good evening, Gary, and everyone here on the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association Clubnet Tuesday nights. I have no haiku tonight. Creativity escaped my hollow melon. Count 'em up, Gary. Oh man, so much to unpack, and so not even near the end yet. Like Ethan, I'm always doing something with something too, but I just can't talk about it on the radio. It's good to hear Dustin and Nick in here. The BeaconNet crew, man, that's way cool. Way to kick off the night. Interesting question, Gary, because yes, we have had this conversation quite recently. A lot of people are picking C. Apparently they don't remember Shorter's postulate. I'm going to go with D, improving imaging. Delta, that's my guest tonight on the trivia question. This is KD8SLG, back to net control.
Oh, there you go, Nick. All right, KD8SLG, I got you down for Delta. And, my postulate is if you don't know the answer, you pick C, because that's the one. That's and I don't know why it's like that, but really and truly, that holds true in many, many cases, except when you have someone like Eric Mast, chemistry teacher extraordinaire, who knows all those tricks and kind of messes with people's minds. And he was one of those kind. He was great chemistry teacher. As a matter of fact, I've known a number of really good science teachers, chemistry and physics and biology, as a matter of fact. And Eric is definitely one of them, that's for sure. Okay, we'll clear with SLG. Let's head down to Maslin, KA8MNT. Tom, what do you have for us this evening?
W8WKY, this is KA8MNT. Good evening, Gary, and everybody else is here. Well, I don't have a whole heck of a lot. We had breakfast with the 6-meter group and solved the world's problems again. I wish they'd quit messing it up, but, no further comment on that. Let's see, trivia. I'm going to go with Delta. If I remember my stereo building days, that was one of the reasons we did what we did. So that's what I'll do. And before I get out of here, I have a question for everybody. And I'll give you the answer pretty much right away. Why does a duck have tail feathers? Well, so the feathers are there to cover his butt quack. So with that, 7-3s, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy. Keep smiling. This is KA8MNT. Back to W8WKY. 7-3s.
I knew you wouldn't let us down. Oh, man, that is fabulous. Yeah. Well, I probably could use some tail feathers myself. All right, thank you for that. I appreciate it. And I think, you know what? I got so excited about your question, I forgot what you said for your trivia answer. Can you come back with that, please?
W8WKY, KA8MNT. I said Delta, as in Delta Force. All right, 7-3s, KA8MNT, back to W8WKY.
All right, Tom, thank you for that. And our very best to that lovely wife of yours. We appreciate you and her being around and being part part of the group, that's for sure. Got you down for Delta. We'll clear with KA8MNT, and let's pick up Eric, KE8VZA. This is AA8CS. Again, doing business as W8WKY.
W8WKY in the group. This is KE8VZA. I hope everybody's doing well. Hi, Gary. Hi, everyone. Trivia. I had a friend of a friend many, many years ago who had a really cool set of speakers, and I think they were near-field speakers. And from what I remember about them, and he played an album, part of an album on there to demonstrate. From what I remember, I'm going to go with Delta. Not 100% sure, but I'm going to go with Delta. What else? Last night I broke out my Antron 99 vertical from my 11-meter days and put it up in a temporary spot. I've tuned it up. Looks like it tuned pretty 10, 12, 15, and 17, kind of iffy on 6 meters. Tried it out on 10 meters tonight for the Nor's 10-meter net, and they heard me. Band conditions are not great right now, as you may know. Anyway, on 10 meters, that is. Stopped at the rec center on the way home. Wanted to swim. It was really busy, so I relaxed in the hot tub instead. That was nice. Anyway, looking forward to the Christmas party this Thursday and seeing everybody. And thanks for running the net, Gary. This is KE8VZA, back to net control.
KE8VZA. W8WKY. Yeah. NHTP. We all know what that is. Naked hot tub party. Yeah. That would be at Eric's house. Let's all go down there. Wait a minute. Can I say that on the air? Yeah, I think I can. All right, KE8VZA. Eric, thank you for that. I got you down for Delta. Thanks for being here. Thanks for saying hello on this terrific Tuesday. Appreciate you being here. We'll clear with VZA. Let's pick up my favorite zero station, WO3X. John, good evening. How are you this evening?
Good evening, Gary, and all on the net. This is WO3X, also known as W03X. Nowadays we have the seal and small parameters, and if you want to buy some speakers, then the 3 parameters, the resonant frequency, the V sub AS, and the QTS. If you choose them where the QTS is right around 0.4 or slightly above, like to 0.45, and the V sub AS, it would be the size of the enclosure you want to make, and then choose the resonant frequency for where you want your 3 dB down point to be. So all the places that online that have speakers have those parameters. So that makes it easy for us to make good bass speaker enclosures. Let's see, on the trivia question. It's a little bit tricky. There's one answer that could be possible, but I'm going to go with D delta on that. So, one other thing. Starting on Sunday, January 14th, is a general license class, and it goes for 6 Sundays. Go to www.cfarc.org, click on education, and there is a link for the description and a link to sign up, and the link to register for it will take you to some link that has tiny in there. That's like I said, it goes for 6 weeks. It's free. It's online, so it can be anybody in the world can do it. So with that, back to the net, WAWKY. This is WO3X.
All right, John, very good. Tell me again when that starts. Did you say this Sunday?
No, January 14th. It starts at 1:30.
Okay, very good. January 14th, we'll put that, make sure we get those announcements out. General class license brought to you by the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club starting on January 14th. CFARC.org, CFARC.org under the Education tab. All right, sounds good. Thanks, John. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being my favorite zero station. I appreciate it. And I have you down for Delta. Okay, we'll clear with WO3X. Let's pick up KB1JLR. This is WAWKY. Good evening. KB1JLR, Kilo Bravo 1, Juliet Lima Romeo. Are you out there? All right, not hearing anything. We'll move on, and maybe we'll circle back, huh? How's that sound? So we'll let's move on. KE8ZHG, Doug. Good evening. This is W8WKY. What do you have for us? WKY. This is KE8ZHG, Doug. And I'm not really sure what near field means. If I were to guess, I would say there's designs that you have to sit close to them. And if that were the case, you would probably want to minimize the room acoustics. So I'm going to go with number A. And I also have a ham radio joke. Did you hear about the two antennas that got married? Heard the ceremony wasn't much, but the reception was great. 73 to everyone, KE8 and GHG, that's the net control. And as we all know, it's all about reception. Doug, thank you for that. Appreciate you being here. Got you down for Alpha. And take care. Have a terrific Thursday. We'll talk. Did I really say Thursday? Terrific Tuesday. And we'll catch you again down the log there, sir. Enjoy. And I got you down for Alpha for the trivia question. Okay, here we go. My favorite part of the net. K5 CFY. Good evening, Ray. How you doing? How's Tulsa? And how's life in the Great Southern Plains?
WAWKY, this is K5CFY, and good evening there, Mr. Gary. Good to hear you on there. And before I forget, I'm going to go with, my answer is going to be D for Delta. We'll give that a shot. And I know everybody knows about the BeaconNet tomorrow night at 10 o'clock your time, and pre-net at 9:30. But the RCWA Club spent many, many bucks and took a couple of the stars off of the BeaconNet, and we got them to do the first hour of the Boredom Breaker net tomorrow, starting at 1 o'clock your time. So I'd like to welcome everybody out there listening to come join the net tomorrow and listen to Mr. Dustin that runs the net, and with Mr. Nick on the keyboard. And with that, I'll give it back to you there, Gary. Awesome job there, and thanks for putting it on. K5 CFY, back to you.
All righty, Ray. Very good. Yeah, Board and Breaker Net tomorrow, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Is Dustin, and then we hang around for Ray's hour after that from 2 to 3. So it's something to do on a dismal, gray, rainy afternoon. So stand by for the Board and Breaker Net, and of course the Beacon Net tomorrow night, as Ray mentioned. Ray, thanks for being here this evening. Scratch behind his ears for me. You take care. Have a terrific Tuesday evening here. And we'll clear with CFY. Let's pick up Jeannie, KC3, QND. This is a W8WKY. How are you this evening?
W8WKY.
KC3QND, Jeannie here. Well, good evening, Gary. Well, the answer for the trivia is going to be A. I don't know why, just like A. A sounds good. The closer those speakers are, the better I could hear the music anyway. But, pretty crappy day today. But, hey, all's good. We're here, and I have nothing more. So, back to you, Gary.
All right, Jeannie, thank you for being here this evening. Got you down for Alpha, and that sounds like a reasonable answer to me. KC3QND, W8WKY. We'll clear with you, Jeannie. Have a fabulous evening, and we'll talk again soon. Let's head down to Shreve and see what Jerry has for us. KC8HDP, W8WKY. Good evening.
Well, good evening, Gary, and good evening to everyone on the net. Great to hear everyone in here this evening. For the trivia question, I am going to go with Alpha. A little bit more on the VE session Saturday. We had 5 candidates test on Saturday, and all 5 got what they came for. We have 3 brand new technicians in the area, and we also had 2 generals that upgraded to extra. So they all did a fine job, and everyone on the VE team did a great job. It was awesome. Went really smooth, and thanks to Stefan and Doug, Eric, Bill. See, did I miss anybody? Phil. There we go. Anyway, looking forward to seeing everyone at the Christmas party. Should be a great time. So don't have anything else, so I'm going to send it back to you, Gary. W8WKY and the net from KC8HDP 73.
All right, Jerry, 73, right back at you, my friend. KC8HDP, got you down for Alpha. That would be A. And, yeah, that's a pretty good guess. I would think that might work. Never know. You never know. Jerry, thanks for being here, and we do appreciate you and your participation with the VE team. You do good work, as does the rest of the team. That is something we are very proud of, how we process that. It's very fast, very quick, and Stefan has done an excellent job of streamlining that entire process. So hats off to the entire VE team, including Stefan, of course, who heads it all up. Okay, we'll clear with HDP. Let's pick up Mark, KG4SCK. Good morning, or good evening. Actually, take your pick. Which one do you like better? This is W8WKY.
Well, hello, W8WKY and Gary. This question brings back a lot of memories. And everyone's heard of stereo and high fidelity, and Dave mentioned quadraphonic. back when I was exiting the Navy, looking through the overseas catalog, I saw these speakers called Carver Amazing Loudspeakers, and I just had to have them. Saved up my paycheck for all this stuff and blew it on them. These speakers look like the monoliths in 2001 Space Odyssey. And with that, I got a Yamaha M80 with 250 watts a channel. And since it was just 2 channels, I knew I needed the Carver C9 sonic holography generator, which expanded the depth and height and width of the 2 channels. And it was an awesome setup for a long time, but it's gone now. Now I'm just happy to have a sound bar for my TV that does Dolby Atmos and some simulation of a theater. So with all that, back to the trivia question, A could be the answer. I could see it minimizing acoustics, distortions, bringing the near field speakers closer. But I'm going to go with Delta. I'm going to go with the crowd. I'm always trying to improve the stereo imaging. KG4 SCK back to net.
KG4SCK, W8WKY. All right, Mark, I got you down for Delta, and oh yeah. Well, so I was in the Navy. My buddy, I was married, so I didn't have the opportunity to do the things that normal ensigns do. That is, go out and buy an ensign mobile, which back in the day was probably a TR6 or an Austin Healey 3000 or something like that. And you also had to buy a stereo and live in the BOQ. My buddy Tom Maselli had a Thorn's turntable, a Marantz receiver, TIAC reel-to-reel, and JBL L45 speakers. If you don't think that was a sweetheart of a stereo system, you don't know stereo systems. Those L45s were unbelievable. 15-inch three-way speakers. Anyway, Mark, thanks for bringing back those old memories of the Navy. Yes, that's what we like to hear. Got you down for Delta, though, Mark. KG4SCK will clear with you. And let's pick up another Mark, KC8FQV. Good morning, Mark. Good afternoon, Mark. Good evening, Mark.
Oh, Gary, I think you spread this thing. I got the cough. But I'm going to say Delta. We'll get that done. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, it will be interesting. I've been coughing a lot. As a matter of fact, today tonight, I didn't think about it, but I put Vicks on my chest. I may go back there and get more of that stuff and put on. Between that, I've been popping, I've been popping coldies, I've been popping halls, in the next stage. But, I didn't eat a lot today. Well, I did eat. But tonight we had squash, a brat, and potato salad. It wasn't much. I didn't eat the brat bun. I just ate the brat. Didn't take the carbs with it. But something else. So, tomorrow night the Falls got a dinner. Wednesday or Thursday we have a dinner. I have 2 appointments today on Thursday, too. 3 appointments. I got a dinner appointment at night. And doctor's appointments during the day. Yeah, they're going to see how my arm is. And Saturday I have to do a run to Sandusky. I don't have to, but I do. Want to see the folks up there at the Coaster Club. And I'll report on what I get from the Cars group on Saturday night. They just said there's something. I don't know what. But, hell, this is the season. So I'm going to say Delta for my trivia Delta, Gary. Yep, one more day, and then you'll get to do your morning. Yeah, tomorrow night you get to go out for your beer night. So now I gotta follow through on this, getting this crud out of my system. So back it comes, KSFQV.
KC8FQV, AA8CS, doing business tonight as WAWKY. All right, Mark, I got you down for Delta, and you have been sick for a while, and I understand completely. I was sick for 3 weeks, went to the doctor twice during that 3-week period, and I was miserable. I understand completely. So get uncruded, decrud yourself, and you'll feel a whole lot better. Trust me, that's what happens. Okay, we'll clear with FQV and head to beautiful downtown Firestone Park. K8AMX, this is W8WKY. How are you this evening, Dick?
Well, good evening, Gary, and all the chickens, and all the scanners, and boy, I'm glad that we got through that whole net, because I'm looking forward to hearing what President Trump has to say on Hannity tonight. So, anyway, yeah, I sort of let everybody know how I lean, but that's all I've got to say about that. And I'm going to say D for Delta on the trivia, and turn it back to Net there. This is Kilowatt 8, American Motors, experimental, living the dream in beautiful downtown Firestone Park, and hi to Eileen and Riley.
All right, Dick, thanks for being here, and got you down for Delta, and it's a great evening, and I'm glad that you hung around and visited with us this evening. Beautiful downtown Firestone Park. That's a great place. That is a great place. The Ponderosa there is green and full. So take care, and we'll talk to you again real soon. You tell that lovely bride of yours that we said hello. Susan is a lovely person, and we certainly appreciate knowing her and you, of course. Okay. Clear with K8AMX, and that brings me to the bottom of my list. Including me, we have 31 check-ins so far today. We're after 9 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and answer the trivia question, and if there's anyone else that would like to check in, feel free to stand by. I'll call for other check-ins in just a minute. Okay, near-field speakers. The correct choice was Alpha, and here's the explanation. Near-field high-fidelity speakers are positioned close to the listener primarily to minimize room acoustics interference. When speakers are placed in the near field, the direct sound from the speakers reach the listener's ears more quickly than any reflected sound from room surfaces. This minimizes the impact of room acoustics, such as echoes and reverberations, which can affect the accuracy and the clarity of the sound. Near-field high-fidelity speakers are commonly used in professional audio production studios and home audio setups where the listener is in close proximity to the speakers. Typical uses of near-field high-fidelity speakers, primarily studio monitoring and audio production. Again, the design allows for accurate representation of audio details, making them crucial for professionals who need precise sound reproduction. They don't emphasize any particular frequency characteristics. They really and truly give you as true a sound reproduction as you can get. At least that's the design incentive for that type of speaker. Anyway, in my case, I have about, I don't know, that's probably 8 feet across from where my stereo system is and the couch where I sit and listen. So that is a perfect scenario for near-field speakers, and that was the reason why I wanted to do that project with my dad. And there you have it. The answer was A. Let me grab a second. The first correct answer was John's mom, KEAU high B. John's mom said alpha. And let's see, Doug, KEAZHG had alpha. Jeannie had alpha, Q and D. And I think that's it. There you have it. So thank you for participating in the trivia question this evening, everyone. So with that, if you would like to depart merrily to the WatchNet, that's coming up. As a matter of fact, it's already on. So you are excused. However, if you'd like to join this motley crew on the 147.39 megahertz machine in beautiful downtown Doylestown, Ohio, give me a call.
Kilo Delta 2, Hotel Charlie Echo, Chrisino in Medina, and I'll be in and out. Thornton, in and out.
Kilo 8, November X-ray, Kenny and Coventry, in and out.
Whiskey 2, Juliet, Lima, Sarah, W2JLS in Fairlawn.
In and out.
Kilo Charlie 3, back on our Foxtrot Charlie, KC3, QFC, FedEx Mike, Rochester, New York, in and out. Please also check in KE2, BZX, Kilo Echo 2, Bravo Zulu X-ray, K in Rochester, New York, also in and out.
WD8LSM, good evening.
All right, we got a couple holes to fill in here. First, we have KD2HCD. Chris, I have you in and out. And maybe Carrie, NNX. I missed your prefix. I know you were in and out, but NNX with an 8 in front. What's your prefix, please?
It's Kilo Echo 8. November X-ray.
Alrighty, sir. Thank you for that. And you were in and out, correct?
That is correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here, and we appreciate your participation. Don't be a stranger. We do this every Tuesday night, and a bunch of other nets all week long. So come on down and hang out with us, that's for sure. W2JLS was in there. KC3QFC Mike was in there with his lovely bride KE2BZX. And LMN John, I got you in the log. And I know I missed a couple. Who else is out there that would like to join us this evening?
Kilo Echo 8, Yankee November Juliet, John Norton, in and out.
And N8LTR on RF when it isn't getting covered up by Echolink.
November 8, Mike Kilo Romeo Mobile John Ellett, checking in and out.
W8WKY.
All right, I think we got it now. Let's see, we had John KEAYNJ. We have N8LTR and N8MKR, John. Have you in and out, John. Thanks for stopping by this evening. Good to hear you. There you have it. Let's start at the top. HCD was in and out, NNX was in and out. My neighbor, W2JLS. Good evening, John. How are you? What's cooking? A street over from mine.
Alpha 8, Charlie Sierra, Mr. Gary, good evening on your ears, neighbor. And everyone else there that are listening, good evening on their ears, too. I had your A guessed correctly, but it didn't get in there in time. But cool question. I like the idea of making your own speakers. That's really neat. If you're interested in another project, I've got a new raw material, and think ultra-flat, ultra-thin profile speakers. I've got a notion. I think it'll work. I don't think it's been done before. Maybe we could come up with something new. Yeah, and I started the net listening. I was out shopping in our neighborhood over here, Gary, with my Echolink and earbuds. So that's where I was listening in, but I am on RF now, so whoever was stepping on LTR, it was not me. So anyway, just wanted to get that in there. W2JLS, thanks for having me, buddy.
All right, John. Yeah, I am an aficionado of high fidelity, and really enjoy it. Don't have the necessarily to go hog wild or anything, but I do love tinkering, and I built these speakers with my dad. That was that was the reason I wanted a project. He was 90 at the time, and that's really when he started going downhill. But we did get these speakers, this speaker project in, and again, because of the way my setup is down here, I wanted near field speakers, and so we picked that design, and Dad made the cabinets, and I did the rest. So it was a great project. I loved doing it with my father, and something I'll never forget. And there you have it. All right, John. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I'm all. If it's high fidelity, something like that, I'm game. Let me know. Okay, we'll clear with JLS. Let's pick up Mike, KC3QFC with KE2BZX. How you doing, Mike?
W8WKY, KC3QFC. I was supposed to be in and out, but, well, you called me out of the darkness. We are doing good. We're just sitting here eating some dinner. She chose what she wanted for her birthday dinner, so it just got delivered there. Just a side note, along with JLS there, I was hoping to get in to throw my guess out there. The bottle caps told me correctly. So you would have had another correct answer, because I was going to go with Alpha. Other than that, nothing much going on here, just spending some time with her and enjoying every minute of it. And I'm sure she'll say hello here in a second. Hello. That was her. She's mowing down her sirloin steak here. So, other than that, hopefully everybody's had a good day and a good evening, and hopefully you guys have a better tomorrow if it wasn't. With that, we'll send it back to net control from Kilo Charlie 3, Quebec Foxtrot Charlie, along with KE2 BZX.
Good evening, Mike, and good evening, Kay. Good to hear both of you in there, and thanks for stopping by this evening and saying hello. We appreciate that. KC3QFC and KE2BZX. Good to hear both of you. John, take it away. LMN. Yeah, LMN. This is W8WKY. How are you this evening?
Good evening. I think you were talking about me, WD8LSM, Lima Sierra Mike. It's been a while since you talked to me, and yeah, you buzzed another one. I know you always say that, Gary. No harm in that comment, but yeah, we head over to our church rehearsal and on our way home. In fact, we're pulling up in the driveway now. So I'm not going to talk too long. We stopped at Long John Silver's and got something to bring home to munch on. So I'll say good evening to everyone, and we'll turn it back to you. AA8CS, WD8LSM.
All right, John. Yeah, that's me. And like I said many times, if I'm not mangling a call or two or five, I'm not doing the net. It's somebody else. So good to hear you. Yeah, it's been a while. So take care. Don't be a stranger. You know, we're on here all the time. So come on down and join us whenever you get an opportunity. All right, we'll clear with WD8LSM, and let's see. John, KE8YN. YNJ, John was in and out, and here we go. RF, that's supposed to be N8LTR, W8WKY, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Gary. Yeah, all those wonderful hi-fi names really brings back some memories. I still have quite a nice system in the other room with Carver M1.5T and a Carver string set up in there, and a set of Ohm Walsh 4s and a Velodyne subwoofer. So yeah, I enjoy hi-fi much myself, and yeah, I built some speakers before, but just for automotive use. Never built anything for in the house. Woodworking skills are not up to that standard yet, but anyway, good deal. You still have them and still use them. Congrats. N8LTR, back to that.
All right, Bill. Thanks for being here this evening. Yeah, honestly, I sit back and listen to vinyl, and I marvel. I marvel at how good the sound is. You know, and I wish back in the day, you know, when I was a lot younger, I had equipment like this. I didn't have equipment like this. You know, I had a record player. You know, the speakers kind of folded out. It was a stereo record player, and you could actually carry it around if you wanted to. The speakers folded out, and you know, it was a record player is what it was. Oh man, yeah, equipment was pretty expensive to get good stuff. It still is, as a matter of fact. Okay, Bill, we'll clear with you. N8LTR. N8MKR was in and out, so at the bottom of my list, we're 20 minutes past the hour. actually 19 minutes past the hour. We have 40 check-ins as we speak, including myself. We'll take a last call here. If you'd like to join us, we're still open for business. This is W8WKY. Last call for the Sarah Tuesday night net, Club Net, December 12th. Yep, Santa Claus is on his way. Anybody else before we pull the plug?
KD8SLG, recheck, please.
Fox Queen Victor, recheck. KSFQV.
W8WKY.
All right, I can't envision a better way to close this net than with FQV and FQV. Really and truly, this is an honor beyond honors. Let's start with you, Mark. KC8 FQV, recheck, go.
All right, KSFQV. Yeah, we're going to get the bed shaker going and get Kerry up. I don't know how we're going to close this net. We don't have him. Yeah, I don't know how we're going to close it. I guess it's going to just stay open. But hope everything's going good. KSFQV.
Marsh. Well, Kerry was in and out this earlier today. He can't close everything down. I mean, you know, he's quite the closer Monday through Saturday. So we'll just let him do that, and we'll let him rest on a Tuesday night. So thanks for that, Mark. We appreciate it. Okay, now back to the back of the bus. KD8SLG. W8WKY. What's up?
W8WKY, this is KD8SLG, checking in from the back of the bus. Not under the bus, not quite yet, but thank you. Thank you for circling back to me. Thank you for throwing out a plug for the WatchNet down there in Millersburg, and that is, what is it, KD8QGQ. Boy, that's a mouthful. 146 Mark 670, negative offset, and a PL tone of 71.9. Get down there. I already talked to Charlie once. I hope to get called up again. And I cannot believe I did my gig earlier without mentioning the Christmas party, because I am truly excited. So many of my friends are going to be there, and I look forward to spending a couple hours with them, breaking some bread and having some fun. Gary, thanks for having me as a tail gunner tonight. It's great talking to you. KD8SLG, back to net control.
All right, Nick, I can't imagine having anybody else having my back as tail gunner. That works just fine. Just fine. All right, thanks to Mark and Nick for tying up the ribbons here. Let's see, at this time, I will close the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association Tuesday Night Net at, what time is it? 9:23. We had 40 check-ins, 40 check-ins. I want to thank everybody who participated in tonight's net, because it's your participation that makes this the premier club net. Yeah, I said it first. Premier club net on Tuesday nights, for sure. Let's see. Barometer net, Monday through Saturday. Don't forget that. The Beacon net tomorrow night and Sunday night. And let's see, the Boredom Breaker net tomorrow at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. Runs till 3. Check out Dustin and Nick the first hour, and then Ray K5CFY picks it up the second hour. So, yeah, a lot of fun. So be there if you can. With that, this is AA8CS, again, doing business tonight as W8WKY. I return this repeater back to regular amateur radio use. W8WKY is clear. 73, all have a fabulous, fabulous evening. It was a pleasure being here with you this evening. We'll talk to you again soon. 73, all, AA8CS/W8WKY is clear.
What a great net tonight. This is KDSLG. I just punched out of the watch net. So anyone up for an after party here on the W8WKY? This is KD8SLG. I'm listening.
I'm your Huckleberry. This is W2JLS. I'll hang out for a spell.
I can't spell, but I'll hang out too. AA8CS.
I'm sort of in and out, but I just want to say the best speakers are voice of the theater.
Holy cow, look what happens when you throw out your call sign after a net. W2JLS, my brother from another mother. Good to hear you. And holy cow, AA8CS, you have not had enough radio yet today, my friend. And K8AMX, if you don't know K8AMX, you don't know Dick. Dick, you sounded like you were doing a one and done kind of thing. So what else have you got for us tonight? Say howdy there, partner.
Well, I'm learning all about President Trump here and watching his interview by Sean Hannity. So I'm sort of busy, and I just want to mention that I really had plans when my wife and I moved into this house that I would have 2 voice of the theater speakers in the living room here, and figured that would be perfect to sit in the middle of the living room and crank those up. But she wouldn't let me. So there you go. 73, Trump's back on. I got to listen to what's going on. This is K8AMX.
K8AMX, this is KDSLG. You'll have to fill me in the morning what Trump says, because I just can't watch reality television. I really can't. See what Gary's doing there. Gary, take over, man. I think that's a rotation. Go, Gary.
Go, Gary, go, Gary, go, Gary, go. Sounds like a song. Yeah. This has been fun. This has been fun. I knew that tonight's net was going to be fun. I decided it was going to be fun, so it was fun. That's all I got. Yeah, so I'm having a little bit of, I'm still sipping on that bourbon that we started a little earlier there, Nick. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing. And it's, God, what a nice evening. Yeah, just a nice evening. Fun to be on the radio, fun to talk to people. Good net. We had 40 check-ins. That's not too awfully bad for a Tuesday night. And I got everybody out for the watch net, so I would say success. Over to you, John. What's cooking on your side of the what's cooking on your side of the neighborhood?
KC3QFC.
I heard FedEx Mike jumping in there. I'll let him go first. How about that? W2JLS over to I think FedEx Mike.
W2JLS, KC3QFC. Appreciate that there. You know, Nick hollered out there who was all out there for an after party, and man, my toes hurt, my neck hurts. I get stomped on. I mean, I unkeyed to Dick talking there, and apparently Gary, you stomped all over me too, so I got the whole barrage on the outdoor of that. Talk about letting everybody all out at once. No, I just wanted to say hello there, and good net tonight. I got to spend some time with the better half here. Only got 2.5 hours left of her birthday. So, of course, sitting here enjoying it. I really don't feel like having the pots and pans thrown at me. But definitely a good net from what we caught on it. We came over from the RCWA and checked there and then checked in over here. So we were a little busy there for a while. Other than that, appreciate to come back, and we'll step aside and let you guys have the round table. But we'll be out here listening. KC3QFC over to W2JLS.
Good to hear you in there, Mike. Yeah, I wasn't sure if you were on the road or what, and didn't want to keep you waiting, buddy. Yeah. Anyway, I ran to fill my glass. I kind of quit drinking during the week, but I made an exception tonight. I'm having a sip of cab, so we'll do that while we play radio a little bit. I was going to say, with respect to Dick and the best speakers, I don't know what the best are, but I've got a set of Klipsch 6s. It's an American-made product. I like those for that reason. And I think Dick and I agree on Trump as Americans, maybe. We see eye to eye. I'm not sure about his speakers. I'll have to look into those. But my Klipsch, I was going to share that they have the slogan, pissing off the neighbors since 1946, which I think is kind of funny. In part because maybe the first week I lived here, I was firing up the Klipsch and playing some music through those off of YouTube very loudly for maybe a couple of hours before the police rolled up and welcomed me to the neighborhood. So anyway, I haven't had any problems since then. I've toned it down a bit. Turns out that big great room makes a hell of a giant box to amplify the speakers through. Passing it back over to Nick, KD8SLG, maybe with a pause along the way.
KC3QFC, KD8SLG. Mike, good to hear you out there tonight. Thanks for stopping by. I did punch in and out of the WatchNet twice, so we have been represented. W2JLS, my brother from another mother. I was in your neighborhood today, but don't tell anybody I wasn't there. I really wasn't. I know nothing. But, ma'am, good to have you on board. I love hearing you on the radio. And Gary, I would like to dispute the answer to the trivia question, probably on the side somewhere at some time. We'll have a conversation. I think there should have been an echo, all of the above, because echo, all of the above. But hey, that's just me. Don't worry about it. It's all right. I don't take these things seriously. Just watch out in your mailbox for a while. AA8CS, this is KDSLG. Take it away, Gary.
Hey, KCFQ, maybe he's doing bourbon already, or a Suburban. Between a Suburban and him, they both take a lot of gas. At KCFQV, I was doing my routines of exercises, using my weight, the 1 pounder. When I went and got it, I said to the check, I said, how do you sell these? By the pound? The cheap chalk called it. I bought 2 of them, 2 1-pounders. Hey, let's see if Gary's there, or is he still sipping that bourbon?
KC8FQV, KDSLG. Turn your TV down. That's louder than you. And, Gary, that's none of your business there, buddy. Now, Mark, it's good to hear you, man. I always love giving you a hard time. But seriously, turn the TV down. It's louder than you. AA8CS. Go ahead, Gary. Oh. I don't know where Gary went. Let's go back to W2JLS. John, are there any applications in acoustics for graphene?
W2JLS returning from the Echolink temporarily as I'm setting Ryan up with some SpaghettiOs meatballs variety. I will say to that there are very likely applications involving graphene. Most of them probably overpromise and underdeliver, but I do have a graphite-based application I want to screw around with. That's the one I was alluding to with Gary on the net. So we'll talk a little bit about that maybe off the air.
Good deal. You know where to find me. I like that stuff. And is it 1 or 2 on Thursday night, John, real quick?
Oh, roger on that. I believe it's 2 if that works. And maybe I've got something to sort out the differential.
Absolutely, John. No worries. You know how I feel about the night nurse. Night nurse. Oh, man. I'm feeling Jamaica. KC8FQV. Mark, where you been tonight, man? I saw you check into the RCWA. I saw you check into us. Where else you been tonight there, buddy?
Okay, sub-QV. Well, I was listening to that other net, the tech net. I was listening to that on broadcast to fight a little bit. They were talking about radios and programming them and that. I keep forgetting about asking someone. I have a radio here I got on that Temu, T-E-M-U, a web. I have a lot of stuff cheap. As a matter of fact, I got a badge and a hat now. And, but that's what I was doing tonight. So all I did Yeah, I doubt if this thing is going to be cleared by Thursday, so. But we're in a big room this year, so I'll stay clear at the other end. So, but other than that, yeah, Saturday I'm going to run up to Huron, Ohio. A little shy of Cedar Point, but I go right past Sawmill Creek. I always wondered where that was, and I know now where it's at. Because my polka group was there back in the days, about 17, 16. I didn't realize where Sawmill Creek was at. And I had been there in 04 when we had a conference for the Coaster Club. Didn't realize it. Things become small after a while. The world becomes small. Thing is so big, but then it gets small. But that's what we were doing. So, yeah, I got this MMRL. It's MML Radio 8811. I gotta figure out how to program it. I have to get the main menu started, and I think everything goes from there easy. But we'll get it someday. KCQV.
All right there, Marco. You keep plugging away. Mark E. I'm going to call you Mark E because that's what showed up on NetLogger tonight. You're now Mark E. Mark. Mark E. W2JLS. Signal received there on the graphene stuff. I think there are some possibilities there based on my past experience with acoustics. Yeah, and Thursday night, man, that's awesome. You and Erica, I will see you there. KD8SLG over to W2JLS.
W2JLS returning. Yeah, Erica was curious if there's a dress code and what that might be.
Yeah, but, no. just flat out, no, there is not. Go.
Okay, so no naughty night shift nurse wear for her. I'll let her know, and we'll keep it comfortable and casual is probably the way to go into the Eagles Club with the Sarah Club, if my guess is correct. Yeah, and I don't know. I think one of the things I like about my graphite concept is the diamagnetic nature of the particular graphite I have in mind to screw around with. Anyway, I think it'll be fun. It might be a complete flop, that being said, but I don't think so. I think it'll be, if nothing else, it'll make for an interesting science project like that. Yeah, and Gary's question was cool. I'd never even heard of it referred to as like a near-field speaker like that before, and his choices, the way that he described it, sounded like the right choice to me, just by virtue of near field. If it's going to be close to you, you're not going to have stuff in the room to contend with. So that's why I was picking A. Distortion, I think of as more of an electronic phenomenon. When you're pushing up on volume and amplitude, you might end up trying to over-amplify a signal that's not strong enough to withstand what you're doing to it, or something like that, or other noise-related stuff that can jump in there. But be curious to hear the logic behind all of the above from your perspective. Anyway, I'm not sure who else was still there. I think Gary stepped off, at least for a moment, maybe taking care of his mother-in-law or something. Maybe it's Fox Queen Victor.
Comment?
Jump in there.
Hey, JLS and SLG, KG4SCK. I was just going to mention, I heard talking about graphene. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but I'll tell you an experience with my Carver Amazing loudspeakers. They had a ribbon tweeter on the side that went vertically up and down, and it was foil with different links sandwiched in between plastic and connected together, I guess via a little wire or something. I think the different lengths of foil made the different frequencies. Anyway, one of the foils cracked and the speaker stopped working, and I was like, well, how in the world am I supposed to repair this? So I scratched away some of the plastic encasing the ribbons, and I took some pencil lead and ground it up and put it into epoxy or something and pasted it on there as delicately as I could, and the thing started working again. So that's my comment and 2 cents on that. KG4SCK, back to the group.
I'll see if I've still got this. W2JLS returning. Yeah, I'll just jump in real quick. It sounds like Fox Queen Victor didn't come back, so I'll respond to that observation. Yeah, the graphite and the pencil, I'm not sure in what context that was working out. It may have had more to do with the epoxy, but some graphite, particularly graphene and pyrolytic graphite, of various types. I won't go into all those details here, but they can be very highly diamagnetic, and those properties might be able to, couple with the magnetic field in a way that they're responding to the field, and then can be harnessed as an active element in a speaker, is my guess. The same concept is definitely used with other metallic materials, but I'm pretty sure with some of my graphite I could probably make that go. Out of a pencil, I'm betting probably not. You may have just healed the speaker with the epoxy. W2JLS passing it along.
KD8SLG returning. Oh, boom. So, yeah, I guess repairing that ribbon would just need something that would be conductive, I'm thinking. So whatever it is that did it, it worked, but those whole ribbon speaker things were a very, very big, spendy phase at some point in our recent history. And there had to be a reason for it. And that's sort of what I was thinking of when I brought it up. And I've got some very standard kind of speakers that sound absolutely awesome, and I enjoy them, as does Gary. So there's the thought process going on here. And hi, Mark, KG4SCK. Good to hear you on the radio. KDSLG, I don't know if Mark's still out there. Marky Mark KC8FQV. Mark, you got anything to throw in there? If not, it's a jump ball.
All right, yeah, speakers are an interesting thing, what they are. And actually, how we get, amazing. That you can get them to also give you audio, so you can listen to hook them, and you can get it in the reverse too. But yeah, speakers are an interesting thing. When we were growing up, we used to play with some crossovers and all that. Now, this stuff is so small you can't do it. But it's amazing what some of these small speakers do sound, and what we grew up with, and how big they were. But hey, I'm gonna listen along here at KSFQV.
Oh, yeah, KG4SCK. Yeah, John, and this is, I'm trying to remember back to the 80s or early 90s what I did. And it may have been not been as extreme as pencil lead, but probably, the graphite you can buy in a tube as a lubricant, knowing it is conductive. I knew I had to fill that crack in the aluminum. And I think I put some Scotch tape over it, dusted it, and put some Scotch tape over it just to test it. And I believe it worked, so then I was looking for more of a permanent thing and probably made some sort of composite out of the graphite powder to apply to it. Then it worked for a while. So there you go. Good luck on your guys' speaker or whatever endeavors. KG4SCK.
W2JLS returning. Yeah, it's possible if you were using graphite and you had the concentration high enough, you might have had sufficiency. You have to reach what's kind of called the percolation threshold for graphite in a composite that's otherwise insulating. The polymer side of that would be an insulator, for example. The graphite, if there's too much distance between the graphite particles, you will not have a conductive enough material for that to have behaved as a conductor. If you were up over the percolation threshold, you might have done. So could be that you had the thing healed by the epoxy, and if your graphite source was sufficiently concentrated, you might very well have had it conducting. So there you go. Cool. Nice story, actually. Pretty neat. W2JLS. I'll leave a pause, passing it back to my brother from another mother, Mr. KD8SLG.
AA8CS returning. Stick me someplace, Nick.
Whiskey 3 Kilo.
Hey, CS, you're up. WV3K, you're after Gary. Go, guys.
All right. Well, I just got back, and I'm not sure where the conversation has gone. But I will. I'm here for a little bit, and we'll see how everything goes. John, good to hear you tonight. It's been. It hasn't been that long, but we don't get to talk as much as I thought we would. But anyway, it is good to hear you this evening. And I don't know who else is in there. I think I heard Phil's in there as well. And I think you take it after me, Phil, so go ahead. WV3K, AA8CS, and the group. Over to you, Phil.
AHCS WV3K, thanks, Gary. I just wanted to merely make a couple comments here. One being in principle regarding to what W2JLS John had mentioned, which pretty much underscored the concentration gradient of the carbon composites that are crushed up that I had done probably about 30 years ago when I was repairing the Texas Instrument SR50s. Those are one of the first electronic scientific calculators that came out with the red LEDs, which some of you may know of, that were not segmented but were like little micro dot LEDs. And everything internal was pretty much proprietary as far as trying to make repairs. They'd even scratch off the numbers and stuff so you didn't know what was what. But as I needed to do some repairs for the amount of use I was giving my unit, I noticed that sometimes the keypads would not activate to either execute presenting the numbers on the display, or follow through with the functions that I needed to use for taking exams. So what I did was just that. It was just a more of a common sense thing that came to mind, given the nature of how small of an area you're dealing with. But I did the same thing, and there was no electroconductivity that was significant enough to be effective to activate the pads of the sensitivity to trigger the input on the pads that were like looking at a little delay line, one end to the other, that is separated by space. And so you put it on, you glue it onto the pad after you crunch it up real good. And if you have the concentration gradient of graphite that's fine enough and concentrated enough, it will be sufficient in the mixture, and you mix it up real good, of course. And then once you feel that you have enough there that it seems to be a higher concentration gradient that wouldn't increase present a high level of resistance, it would be low enough resistance that when it's pressed against the two sections of artwork that looks like a separated delay line, then that worked absolutely perfect. I mean, not perfect, but it was wonderful. It was repeatable reliability at all times, great for time. So that's I did that way back when I was in college, just about 79 or so, and because I put that thing to work since 75 when I had bought that from Boston when I was in the military, and a couple of us had those, and batteries were probably the biggest problem. The NiCads are just worthless when it comes to high demand of duty cycle, and you keep that thing on the charger all the time just to be able to work with it for hours. And essentially, it worked long enough until it started loading down the power supply, and then you have problems there. But it was an AC 24 volt, I think, and they had a diode in place, which is like a half bridge rectifier. So that worked out really fine for me. Now, if somebody else is using a different composite of lead that might have some resistance already built into it, perhaps some poly lead, I don't know. John, you're more of a chemist that would understand better, but the thing is that it was sufficient, as you pointed out, for me to do what I did, and it is still working today. For all the many years I've had it and been continually using it. And I have several calculators that I've repaired since and built battery packs to keep them running. So that's my experience with that, and it really works well. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and give it back to you guys. Sound like a great and interesting conversation, and I wanted to contribute a little reinforcement there. So the gentleman who had brought that up, he had something in principle that very much was had been validated. I can only validate what he was talking about, but there is a concern to note that the composites you're speaking of, John, that the type of material that's being used is a matter of thought that needs to be considered. At that time, I thought, hey, carbon is it. You know, at that time, I didn't know of any conductive liquid type of solder. There is such a thing in a tube, but it doesn't harden very well, and it can be rather still somewhat pliable even after it cures. And if you get any debris loose in there, then it's all over the keyboard and everything, and you don't want to do that. So anyway, back to I think it's going back to Nick. K8 SLG, WV3K. And I'm going to be clear, gentlemen. Have a wonderful evening. Good talking with you. WV3K clear.
SLG has a mouthful of Cheetos. Hey, Phil, W3K. Good to hear you, man. I'm going to keep chewing on these things. Well, I'm thinking about how much perhaps the materials, the graphene products have changed in so many years. And I think W2JLS is up next. Go, John.
W8WKY.
W2JLS returning. I'll say this about graphene. I started doing research on this stuff actively, kind of told, hey, John, you're going to work on evolving a graphene nanoplatelet presence for the company. I was told to do that three and a half years ago, and been working on it largely ever since. I've learned a lot. I will say, going into it, I was a little skeptical because of all the hype around things coming out, like new allotropes of carbon back in the 80s when I was a kid, and all the over-promising, under-delivering that happened with Buckminster fullerene and the other caged carbons. I would say there was some good that came out of carbon fibers and carbon nanotubes for sure. Some very practical applications, and the problem with some of that stuff, some of those materials for like carbon nanotubes, they're very good for imparting conductivity in various contexts in composites. They get a bad rap because of the aspect ratio of those things is similar to asbestos, and everyone knows the story with asbestos. It was into everything early, and before anyone recognized it was potentially hazardous in terms of a respirable fiber. It was everywhere, and it's kind of created a problem in modern times for CNT, carbon nanotubes. I will say carbon nanotubes are great for imparting conductivity in composite materials. And as Phil pointed out, the polymer or other matrix that you're putting these kind of things into, whether it's carbon nanotubes or graphene nanoplatelets, or a conductive material in any way, any sense, whether it's metallic or blends, it has the polymer itself. It varies in terms of its contribution. How crystalline is it? And also, I would just point out there actually are conductive polymers. They're not amazingly conductive, but things like polyaniline, polythiophene, and some other more exotic stuff, they're out there. They're, in terms of practical conductivity versus, like for electrical applications versus more electrostatic dissipating applications, those are things that you could talk about, right? Anyway, I'm sure we're boring most people listening with this conversation, but it's awesome that at least a subset of the population's into that stuff. That's cool. W2JLS, I think I'm passing this on to, I don't know if it's back to Gary or Fox Queen Victor. I'll send it to Gary to tell me how it goes.
All right, John. I'm not sure how it goes, but I'll pick it up. Wow, you guys went off on a tangent here. Graphene, I guess that's the basics for graphite, or that's where it starts at. Graphene is interesting in and of itself, but graphite is a fabulous, fabulous material that makes incredibly wonderful golf clubs. So there's my contribution. Nick, take it away.
Oh, golf clubs. I love it. I know John's been working on this stuff for a couple of years, so that's why I have no qualms about asking about him. even when he doesn't answer me, because I understand why too. At any rate, yeah, I think it's fascinating, and I said this earlier tonight there, Gary, when we had ended up in a literature discussion for a while, and how important it is for hams and potential hams to remember that when we get on the air, we're not just talking about our latest doctor's visit or just antennas and coaxes, that you can get on here and talk about anything, and chances are you'll find someone who shares some interest. And I think that's pretty cool. I don't remember where it goes next either. I want to say W2JLS, but there must be somebody else in there. So you can throw it out there. Whoever's there, take it. Or W2JLS, my mother from another mother, my mother from another brother, my brother from another mother. Take it away. Katie at SLG.
There's Mark in the middle still here.
Jump on that, Mark.
All right, thanks, John. Yeah, this will be my final. I got to call the wife; she's waiting. But John, you're becoming more and more interesting. I mean, scientific and chemistry and all that good stuff. Along with, I want to compliment you on your choice of speakers. Clips are fine, or I can't even pronounce it. Clips. Got to put that P in there. A fine choice of speaker. I've always wanted to own some. I do recall, it seemed like when I was looking at them, the bass or something that had like an interesting horn or unicorn thing where the horn kind of circled around like a snail and then came out. I don't know if that's still correct or not, but anyway, I know they're fine speakers, and I enjoyed the QSO gentleman. I'm going to bow out and pull my antenna down and call the wife and call it a night. KG4SEK, clear.
Mark, it was good chatting at you tonight. Yeah, appreciate the discussion with you, sir. And yeah, clips. I'll share my clip story with you before you disappear. If you're still in there listening as you wander off. I was a kid in I guess it was probably like 1985, and in high school, a junior at that time, and one of my best friends, a guy called Stefan, he picked up what at the time was rather novel, and none of us had them, and he had these kind of bookshelf or desktop amp-powered speakers. This is when they were relatively new. It's back when, CD players were just coming out and all of that. And Stefan was an early adopter as a high school student. And he had those rolling, and they were a set of clips, and I was like, whoa. I mean, the clarity, the sound, the power, compared to the size of the things was just ridiculous. And they immediately caught my attention. That's where I first heard of clips. I couldn't tell you the model or any of that, but he got my attention. And then when I was away at college, I noticed some of the kids that were more affluent, their dads set them up with some pretty cool audio to go off to college with, and I was using like the El Cheapos, and I was happy enough to have what I had, but when I ran into some of their gear, I was like, wow, that's amazing. And at least some of those were clips. I picked up my current set, though. I found them online, and they were rather reasonably priced, and I picked up a bass cabinet to go with them, and boom, it's just it will piss off the neighbors, I'll tell you, if you're not minding how much you're throwing through them. W2JLS, on to you, Gary.
Well,
Yeah, or your wife. That happens to me a little bit here and there. Actually, more often than I care to admit to. But you know, it's all good. I'll tell you, I love listening to vinyl. I'm a consumer, and I did have a lot of fun building those speakers with my father, and they sound pretty good. Nick's heard them. He likes the Genesis speakers that I have a little better than those. But again, near field requires adjustment, and quite honestly, it's different speaker types have how can I say this? Like different palettes. They, so depending on the designer, some are designed, to emphasize different frequencies and all that stuff, and they have a sound that is rather unique to them. And honestly, if you almost have to go to a high-end audio store, if you would. There used to be one here in Fairlawn years and years ago, but where you can actually connect up different speakers to different amplifiers, and the range of tonal qualities and just the way the speakers sound is incredible. And not that one's better than the other. I mean, some are, obviously, but it's just a different sound. And it's a personal thing whether or not that sound is becoming to you. Do you like that sound? I mean, that's the bottom line. Anyway, it's a lot of fun, and I enjoy dabbling with audio, that's for sure. Let's see, Mark's out of here. Nick, I guess it's you, KD8SLG, and the group, AA8CS.
KD8EPC. EPC, KD8EPC. Who's that? Who dat? Go ahead, Dustin.
I'm just here to shake things up and devalue the neighborhood. So there you go. I really don't have much to add to this conversation. I just heard a bunch of my friends here and wanted to come in and say hi. So Gary and Mark and John and Nick and I think Northmark was in there too. So we'll say hello to everybody there. And Nick, now you can pick it up, and I'll think of something to say before the next round. KD8EPC.
Yeah. KD8SLG returning. Thanks for that, Dustin. Now I completely forgot what I was going to say. I was going to say that much like antennae, speakers are always compromised. And that is, if you want to listen to this, then you have to give up that. Or if you want to listen to that, you have to give up this. Or nothing's ever going to be perfect. So there's no perfect speaker out there for every situation. And, there are some speakers, like I always liked the box speakers, the just bass heavy, kind of just nasty, playing in little box speakers, because they made the cars sound good, and that's, if you wanted bubblegum rock, you wanted a certain kind of sound. But if you had wanted to listen to classical, there was a different kind of sound. If you want to listen to old classic rock, there was a different sound you were looking for. So you always needed, there was no perfect speaker for everything. Nothing would ever reproduce everything the way you wanted it to, much like antennae. KD8SLG, over to W2JLS.
Yes, the antennae. W2JLS returning. Sticking on speakers for a minute or two, it is really quite amazing. Like when I was describing those back in the late 80s, when all those really small desktop amplified speakers started surfacing in the consumer electronics market, it really was quite amazing. I remember the Bose was also, back when Bose was kind of marketing themselves on commercials and stuff, and you're like, wow, I mean, that thing is, they had this thing, I think the Wave Radio, It was tiny and just throw in the sound. You're like, how could you have so much like high quality sound coming out of such a small cabinet? It was really, I mean, it was impressive to me for sure. Maybe I'm easily impressed, but I thought that was really cool. And then, going forward in time, as we've come along, obviously they've been pushing on that. I mean, think about what we're doing with cell phones these days. It's insane. And laptops, like the high-end laptop sound systems, and never mind the stuff we're driving around with. It's insane. I mean, some of these aren't cars; they're stereos on wheels. But recently I was listening to the sound quality on a tablet PC. What the hell is the thing called? I'll remember it. There's one sitting next to me someplace here. It's just amazing the quality in such an ultra small cabinet that we're getting these days. And then if you go back to the beginning of our like modern civilization, the stuff we were doing with violins, like the Strats, violins and stuff. And I'm sure our buddy NTAD could run a mile with what's gone on with pianos and the box that they are and what they're made out of and the shape and the geometry and how that stuff conveys sound like a speaker. It's all, I don't know, it's freaking wicked cool, neat topic, tech-wise to get into, and history-wise, history of tech-wise as well. W2JLS passing it along. I think Mark stepped off, going to bed. Good night, buddy. And we're headed over to Alpha 8, Charlie Sierra. Gary, cool about that story tonight with your dad and working on those speakers. That is wicked cool, buddy. That's and you'll have those the rest of your life to enjoy and reflect. W2JLS, back to you.
All right, that wasn't me. But I will pick it up. Yeah, John, that was absolutely a calculated thing. I had one more project in mind with my dad that I really wanted to do, and I did talk with him about it, but it wasn't to be. But anyway, I wanted to build a still. So my dad has had some stories about the moonshine in the hills of West Virginia, and anyway, I said, Dad, you and we need to build a still, and that was going to be the next project if it was in the cards. But the speakers worked out just fine. And again, I have them forever. I told Nick that my dad signed them. What I didn't say, he had this fetish for writing his name backwards. So literally the mirror reflection of his signature. And anyway, that's the way he signed the back of those speakers. I love it. Anyway, let's see. I think that's enough for this time around. Nick, take it away. KD8SLG, AA8CS.
KD8SLG returning. Oh, man, I turned another radio on. I hope you guys can't hear it. Anyway, I can hear it. So, the speakers were a cool thing. A way cool thing, Gary. You should definitely be happy about that. As happy as you can be. I think we skipped Dustin. KD8EPC, go.
right. Thank you, Nick. Boy, I don't really know what to say. I like speakers. I've owned some speakers. Right now, the only ones I have are some computer speakers, and they came from Nick, so go figure. But anyways, good to hear you all out there this evening. I'm just kind of going to listen along, so go ahead and skip over me, and I'm going to listen to you guys while I play a little guitar here. So, KD80PC, I'll be on the side listening. Whoever's next, take it away.
That may be me, W2JLS returning. Let me see if I've got it. Am I stepping on anybody? I think I'm hearing somebody keying up there. Come on in, whoever that is. Sorry about that.
W2JLS, it's FQVs keying up, but there's no audio. KD8SLG.
Hey, Mark, check your gear, buddy. It sounds like you're keying up and we're not getting a signal along with your, you're sending something. It just doesn't have any voice, okay? So think about it, take a look, and maybe give it another shot next round, okay? Well, let's try one more time. You there, Mark? Okay, not hearing Mark. Gosh, I can't remember where my train of thought was. Dustin, good to hear you in there. I'm sorry if we stepped over top of you or passed you by, buddy. This is just, it's been kind of tech tonight. It's kind of cool. But we don't have to talk about speakers and graphene and tech. Don't feel like you need to step off if that's not your flavor. Whatever you want to talk about, obviously, man, right? So, who would have liked to have been here tonight was probably Walter. He loves anything to do with science or tech. So I'm sorry he wasn't listening in. Gosh, what was I going to say? No worries. We'll maybe catch it on the next round. But definitely cool, Gary, on the project that you did get done with your dad. And never mind about the still. You could maybe do that. Maybe do that with somebody else, right? Maybe one of your girls would like to build a still. W2JLS, passing it back. I think this is going over to Nick, KD8SLG.
I don't think it's coming to me, but I got to tell you, Gary, I'll build a still with you. KD8SLG over to ACS.
Oh, man, that was easy. Oh, God, yeah. Oh, my dad had some stories. I got to tell you, wow. Anyway, I wanted to say one thing about speakers again. I hope this isn't going backwards too much. John, you were talking about like Bose speakers and how they get that kind of sound in such a small box. Well, so Bose developed that stuff, and that is waveguide speakers. It can take a small space like that, and the way it actually, the sound actually travels through like a tunnel. A waveguide, it kind of just guides it around, and that is a fascinating speaker concept that I was interested in addition to this other thing. As a matter of fact, I was looking at some waveguide designs, and what they're doing now is using waveguide technology, or that way of constructing speakers, in larger speakers. So you're if you figure you take this little Bose wave radio and you get fabulous sound out of it, well, consider a well-designed waveguide full-size speaker. That has some serious implications. So that was I guess my final on speakers tonight. But Nick, we got to talk. I need some what is that? Some copper coil and yeah, that's what I need. All right, let's see. I have no idea if EPC is still with us or FQV might be lurking out there. So again, maybe a jump ball, I suppose. I'll throw it out there.
88 EPC, let me make sure I got it. All right. Well, if we're building a moonshine still, I guess I got to stick around for a couple of rounds. I've got a torch and some plumbing-grade solder. I might also know where we might be able to get some sheets of copper. So there you go. If we're building a moonshine still, I'm sticking around. And I have a killer recipe, too. So, all right, Nick, what are you bringing to the party? I know we can't let you operate power tools. Is a blowtorch a power tool? KD8 EPC over to KD8 SLG.
KD8 EPC, KD8 SLG, I'm bringing my refined palate. Oh, sorry, I can't help but laugh at my refined palate. Yeah, I have this ability to Google things and make things work. So I got that going for me. And what's the song, man? What's the song? Like Copperfield Road or something like that? I've watched a bunch of gangster movies about moonshining and stuff. There's a couple of good ones, actually. There's that Burt Reynolds one, White Lightning. That's fun. Yeah. I guess with the building of a still comes the drama of the Deep South. Oh, dude, W2JLS, shut me up.
Oh, yeah, I'm your Huckleberry. Shut it up, boy. Shut it up. W2JLS returning. You're fine. You're nuts. You're fine. And you've been sipping bourbon, if I had to guess, based on priors. What was I going to say? Okay, yeah. So I'm not going to stay out of the still thing. I'll jump in with some. I'll recommend some pyrolytic graphite film, which can be maybe as thin as 7 microns and moves heat like 4 to 5 times faster than copper in the XY plane. And along with that, we'll add in an insulating material. So we're going to improve the efficiency of the copper coil. I don't know, maybe 2 or 3-fold, and get this job done in a quality way. Might be scary, actually. It could be fun. Then I got to go back to speakers for a moment or two because I love it. And then I'm going to share like the concept of the speaker, the violin box as the concept of the speaker, and focusing in on Stradivarius for a moment. Stradivarius had like the secret code, apparently, right? Like it's been talked about all of our lifetime and beyond before on what the hell was that guy doing to, have the secret sauce. When I was again back in the late '80s, I was a kid, early geek, and I was at a ACS dinner, and the guest speaker was from one of the Texas universities, and he was talking about this stuff was like the woods that they would use was sitting in brine, water for a long time, then hanged and all of this stuff. At any rate, the guy did this elaborate study and took samples from old violins and created samples of his own and was studying the acoustical qualities and properties using all sorts of modern technology, and so on and so forth.
W8WKY.
The guy was convinced he had cracked the code, but since then I saw this thing recently that was really maybe timing that was part of the story for Strat. The wood, the grains, like the tree rings. When you look at how close together are the tree rings and such, the annual rings in the tree. Apparently, that has something to say about the acoustics. So it's a lamination thing. Something to think about. W2JLS, passing it along to Alpha Alpha 8 Charlie Sierra, Mr. Gary.
All right, well, since Dustin's back, I can only tell you that you gotta get you a copper kettle and get you a copper coil. Fill it with new-made corn mash, and nevermore you'll toil. We'll just lay there by the juniper while the moon is bright. Watch them jugs a-fillin' in the pale moonlight. Wow. It doesn't get any better than that. Over to you, Dustin.
All right there, Gary. Well, thank you very much. Well, there you go. I got a good recipe for the corn mash there, passed down through the generations there, and it's pretty good stuff. So, yeah, I think we're all set. John's got the cooling figured out. You know how to build the still. I've got the torch and the recipe. Nick can Google whatever else we don't have. So, sounds like we got a plan there. All right, gentlemen. This time I really am jumping out. I've got some things to do, and I have an appointment early in the morning. So, good to hear y'all. John, good to hear you. It's been a while. Gary, I talked to you twice today now, so there you go. We'll say 73, and Nick, you're just Nick. I'll talk to you later. This is KD80PC, 73, gentlemen.
KD80PC, KD8SLG. Yeah, I'll get you at a sound check tomorrow at 12:30 sharp. So there. And man, we've cracked a plan here tonight. Nothing like planning out a completely illegal and subversive thing here on ham radio where nobody is listening whatsoever. No one will ever hear of this plan, that's for sure. Speakers. I'm still stuck on the speakers, man. Gary and I had an extended conversation about speakers today, which really upsets me that I missed the trivia question. Quite frankly, I think there should have been an echo, Gary, because I think echo would have covered all of them, which I think it does. But hey, what do I know? I got a tin ear. Oh, man. Who's up next? I think it's W2JLS. My brother from another mother, take it away, please.
See if I'm making it in there, Nick, KSFQE. Yeah, and I say echo would have been a good one.
We got you, Mark.
All right,
Mark,
good. I dropped it and reconnected.
Your audio wasn't making it through. We heard you.
Take it away.
Mark, it's okay, buddy. Go ahead. Take a round. W2JLS, back to you.
All right. Yeah. Great hearing the talking now about speakers, yeah. Yeah. Antennas, speakers, yeah, they all both make things. Then, we can't forget about the microphone. But you know what? The microphone's sort of a speaker. You take the speaker and you could plug a speaker into the input and it will give some. It just might get a little bit. But, you know, yeah, I remember playing with speakers through the years. One time I said, you know, I want to put music at the barn. And we had a phone line going down the barn. So there was 4 wires. 2 were for the phone. Then I'm going to put the speakers on the other 2. Yeah, you know, and we had music on hold. Or KSLQV.
Break.
Come in, break.
This is KA8MNT, and I won't stick around after this, but you guys forgot one of the most important and key things for your still, and that's bail money. So with that, I'm going to say 7-3s, everybody. I'm going night-night. It's KA8MNT. Back to whoever's next there.
Perfect, Tom. We knew we could count on you, buddy. Always a smile. Thanks a lot.
K8MNT, you crazy bastard. That was magnificent. I'm just curious, is making alcohol, if it's for your personal use, illegal? I would have thought you could use a still for private purposes. Somebody will have to feed back how that goes in the state of Ohio. I know there are some boys down south doing that right this minute and probably sipping what they made last week while they're working on the next bit of the stuff. I had a neighbor down there one day when I was a youngin' in my 20s. He invited me over to try some of his moonshine and about put me on my tail. But yeah, I mean, maybe it's legal here in Ohio if it's for personal use. Somebody will have to fill in that deficit for me. I mean, if you're going to be able to smoke marijuana here shortly legally, why can't you make your own moonshine? W2JLS, I think we're passing along to Mr. Gary, maybe with a pause.
All right, I'll pick it up. I don't know the answer to that question. I think it's all about tax, isn't it? So, like, my daddy, he made whiskey, and my granddaddy, he did too, but they ain't paid no whiskey tax since 1792. I cracked myself up. Seriously, John, I have no idea. I don't, you know, things like that. It's like if I wanted to build a still, I'm going to, and I'm just distilling water for my plants. I don't know. Oh my goodness. And John, so by profession, you're a chemist? Is that? Did I know that? I don't know that I did. Over to you.
Yeah, Gary, by profession, you know, and discipline, I'm a chemist. You and I also share mathematics. So basically, I'm a scientist, natural philosopher, a dad, a soccer player, formerly, more of a swimmer these days. But yeah, if it's something you can touch with math or science, I think that's fair game. But I like everything. But my profession is I'm a research scientist for a graphite company. So most of my last 16 years have been spent in the pursuit of advancing the graphite technologies. And I'm sitting in your cell phone as a heat spreader. Synthetic graphite films evolved from taking polyimide polymer up to 3,000 degrees C, and I won't go into the details of how you make that magic happen, but that's awesome. But yeah, there's the long answer. W2JLS, back to you, buddy.
W8WKY.
All right, thanks, John. That's great. That is fabulous. I'll tell you, I know some very, very smart people, and I'm glad they keep me around, to be honest with you. Oh man, on Fridays I have lunch with a bunch of engineers and physics professors from the University of Akron and the like, and that's a lot of fun. I learn something every Friday when I go to those luncheons. But anyway, that's very, very cool. And obviously, so no wonder. So well, graphene hasn't been around that long. I mean, it's been around, obviously, but I think that's a relatively recent discovery, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, I don't know a whole lot about it, but nevertheless, I thought that's probably in the 2000s, I'm thinking. Anyway, that's cool, John. That is very cool. No wonder you're such an interesting person. With that, let's see. I think EPC's gone. Over to you, Nick. AAHCS.
KD8SLG returning. Apparently, strictly speaking, it's illegal to distill your own alcohol anywhere in the States without paying taxes on it, I guess. But there aren't any specific laws against it, I don't think. Many states have their own laws regarding distilling alcohol for personal use. It is legal to distill alcohol in Alaska, Arizona, Maine, Massachusetts, Michigan, Missouri, Ohio, and Rhode Island. Iowa has no laws about distilling homemade alcohol. However, I think there are federal mandated laws that do not allow you to distill anything greater than a 0.5% ABV, and well, that's certainly not making it at home, is it? No, I don't think so. But anyway, Tom and Linda are on my short list for who to call for bail, and that's what's important right now.
Fox Queen Victor, you still in there? Hearing nothing. He's probably talking beneath me now. Let me check. Okay, W2JLS returning. Yeah, that I was about to look it up, but it says, let's see. Let me see what ChatGPT says about this. According to its last update in January of 22, it's legal to make your own whiskey for personal use in the state of Ohio, but there are some important restrictions you should be aware of. Federal regs. The production of distilled spirits, including whiskey, is regulated by the Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau at the federal level in the United States. Federal law allows for the production of distilled spirits for personal use, but it sets limits on the quantity that can be produced per year per household. So that's 200 gallons per year. So you guys are fine. Knock yourselves out. Even the federales don't care as long as it's less than 200 gallons. And I'm pretty sure you guys aren't doing 200 gallons a year for personal use. Plus, between the two of you, that's 400 gallons, and Gary's wife and mother-in-law, you could put those two on the list. That gets you up to like 800 gallons. Count me in, that's 1,000. Erica, 1,200. I mean, we're doing pretty good there. 1,200 gallons is more than enough. W2 JLS pack. Passing it on to you, Gary. Alpha Alpha 8 Charlie Sierra, over to you, buddy.
I'll be the runner.
Whiskey Victor 3 Kilo.
Okay.
on. We're going to have a whole network here. Wow, yeah. A little mob action going on, I think. Yeah, that's enough to get started anyway. Yeah, we could do that. I have a brother-in-law who put maraschino cherries in moonshine. Geez, sorry, had a brain issue there. Put these maraschino cherries and left them in there for, I don't know, a couple weeks, few weeks, or whatever. And oh my God, that was interesting. Never got drunk off of maraschino cherries before, but man, that just soaked that stuff right up, and it was different, very different. Anyway, my glass is empty, so I might have to just take a moment out and get a refill. Anyway, man, I don't know where this is all going, but I think I'm a little lost. But again, John, I think that's fabulous, man. So you are the second, I mean, truly chemist, scientist type that I know. The other person worked that I'm talking about worked for Monsanto, and he was research. I think he's retired now, if I'm not mistaken, but he was a researcher for Monsanto and chemistry. Smart guy. Chemists are smart. I just know that for a fact. Over to Nicolette. Oh, no. WV3K. Go ahead, Phil.
Thanks, Gary. WV3K here. That's a very interesting detail that John brought up about the legal aspects. I was looking up too on some of that because I don't know all that stuff either, and it seems to be a little convoluted. They say in one instance where federal law states that it's legal for anyone to own a still or distilling equipment if it is used for legal purposes, and this means that if you're a collector or interested in having a whiskey still as a decoration, which I can't see that in this group. You do not have to need to apply at that point for a federal license or register your still. You may simply continue to use it for legal purposes, which to me is, I don't know if that's a paradox in this paragraph or what, but they say that it has to be registered and licensed if you're going to distill any kind of fluids. If you're distilling water or any kind of oils, aromatics type of stuff, that's not a big deal to them. I don't know what else you could do with it. John would be the one to ask about that. I would say that, prefaced on what I'm reading here, it just seems like that federal mandates are a concern if it's used for drinking. I don't see anything else that specifies. Of course, I haven't read all through this, but there's so much detail on it that it would put me to sleep, so I don't know. Anyway, John, thank you for the detail that you shared. I don't know where we're all going with this, but just in the common care of everyone's concern about legality and whatever, I think I would err on the safe side and check the local and government laws so that people don't get hurt from this, because this could be I don't know, it could be a problem issue. But anyway, I'll take your word for it, because you know better than I do. What I'm reading, it's hard telling whether it's all factual or not. So I've seen a lot of disturbing paradoxes in what is written on the internet as compared to what is actual. So over to Nick. I think we're going back over to Nick this time. KD8SLG, if he hasn't signed off, I don't think so. WV3K, back over to you, Nick.
I'm in the middle of a coughing fit, guys. Somebody take it away. KD8SLG.
I think you can still go to the liquor store and buy a bottle of Everclear. Solve the problem that way.
Hi, Richard. Good to hear your voice this evening.
I think somebody was coming in when Phil came in. We may have jumped over. So if that individual wanted to pop in, that may have been Dick or somebody else. W2JLS, passing the mic to whoever that might have been.
Yeah, that was K8AMX. That was me, just popping in and out. And I think you could buy Everclear in Ohio from the liquor store. I'm not sure, but I know you could just scoot over into Kentucky and buy it for sure.
Roger. W2JLS returning, and with respect to Phil's comment, that's not legal advice. I was pulling that off of ChatGPT online, and that is a notorious source of error. So take that at your own peril. I'm not a legal-minded individual professionally, so I can't make any statements there. I'm just sharing what I pulled offline. But I do think you can make some amount that's legal in the state for personal use. That said, I'm more of the wine guy than the whiskey guy, but from a tech standpoint, if somebody needed to distill something, I could probably lend some advice. But yeah, check with do your own legal work there. I'm not that's not my thing. I think let's go back to Nick, see if he's cleared his throat. W2JLS back to KD8SLG.
I have thought. KD8SLG, go ahead.
Gary, that's you, buddy.
Oh, okay. I just got back. I'm sorry I had to refill a glass, and actually I opted for a latte. I know, it sounds kind of weird at this time of the night, but I just really and truly felt like a nice, warm, latte. That's great. I have a Nespresso machine. My oldest daughter works for Nespresso, and so she gets these things for free, and she gave me one. And I'll tell you, other than the fact that the capsules for the Nespresso are expensive, it really makes great coffee. Just saying. Okay, so I'm not really sure where we are in the conversation, so I'm just going to kind of blend in here. So, John, I'm going to turn it back to you, and you direct traffic. Go ahead. This is AAHCS. Over to you, John.
All right, very good. Honestly, I think right now Dick popped in there, and he may have been still on the outside listening in. I would be curious to hear from Dick on how the Trump thing went tonight, if it gets back to him. Whiskey Victor 3 Kilo, Phil may still be in there. Nick, for some reason, has been struggling with a cough for the last couple of overs. I'm not sure if he's ready to take it back. but let's maybe we start with Phil if he's still in there and wants to comment, and then Dick, and then back to Nick. How about that as entertaining a path forward? So, Whiskey Victor 3 Kilo, are you still there, buddy? Did you have something else to share tonight?
Actually, John, I just, in final, really, I just want to say that I appreciate, sharing with us all what you have. We've had conversations in the past. I hope that I'll have the pleasure as an opportunity to meeting you at the Christmas party, because we haven't yet seen each other. I don't think we've met each other yet, but I'm looking forward to that. And my buddy Richard in the back has become a buddy to my wife, and she loves listening to Richard coming in and giving his little entree when he comes in on the nets, and just really loves listening to him speak. Very distinctive, and I'm really grateful to have met Richard. He's a wonderful guy. John, thank you so much for your wealth of wisdom and your knowledge base, especially your knowledge base. I wasn't trying to project. I wasn't trying, at least, project any legal aspects outside of what I was reading on the internet, and I only did that just to try to find out, are we okay to consider the opportunity of it being fine to do that? And I guess the only thing that I saw that was a clincher was about having a license in order to use the still that you make or buy. And if you have one that you're going to use, then they say that there's a federal permit that is required. Now, that could be too also with respect to local, and I'm not real certain if all state governments, local governments, are as hard as the federal government. So, it's beyond me. I mean, they're so up and down with things like this. It's hard knowing what's actual and what's not. And you're right. Taking it at my own peril. Well, frankly, I don't really have any interest in that. And frankly, it's an interesting concept. And I've seen distilleries in chemistry, stuff like that, in engineering for electronics, but I have not seen anything like that for consumption, personal consumption. So anyway. Thank you for all that. I'm sure we can all learn a lot from you from all kinds of areas of science, and it's great. It's wonderful. Everybody has their own niche and discipline. I think we turn it back, over to Nick is having some trouble there coughing. Maybe he could use a sip of something that might calm that throat down a little bit. Or back over to Richard. This is Whiskey Victor 3 Kilo. Pick it up for anybody that's interested in wanting to pick it up. I don't even remember who.
AC3QND.
There we go, Jeannie. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just sitting here listening because I'm getting ready to go to bed, and I was going to turn this radio off. But you guys are talking about stills. Well, out in the country, in Amish country, you don't have to worry about a still. All you do is take that corn off, put it in a silo. Let that silo sit there for about a couple weeks, and it starts making its own moonshine. You go out there, and there's a drain that comes out of the silo. You put your little cup under there, and you collect that, put it in a quart jar. That stuff will make you take back stuff you ain't never stole. And that's all I got to say. So with that, I'm going to go to bed, guys. You all have a wonderful night. It's so good to hear you all on there. KC3QND. Back to Nick.
W8WKY.
know, I can't believe how long we've been listening and talking, you guys, tonight. 2 hours. Wow, that's something. KSFQV, I'm going to just listen out.
Richard and Nick, if you're able to still listen, I just want to say good night to all you guys, and thank you, gentlemen, for wonderful QSOs. It's been real pleasant, and I've enjoyed it. Be looking forward to maybe catching you guys on the Border Breaker Net, and if I can make it, I got a doctor's appointment tomorrow, but I'll see if I can do that. And anyway, I'll see you at the Christmas party if y'all are going to be there. That we're going to be there, hopefully all together, and certainly that'll be a joyful time. So with that, 73 guys, and God bless you all, and love from both Robin and I. Take care and God bless, guys.
Phil. Good night to you and Robin. And I'll see you at the Christmas party, W2JLS. Nick, are you all right, buddy? Are you still there?
KD8SLG returning. I don't know, my nose started running, so I'm going to call it quits tonight, guys. KD8SLG, 73 all y'all. We'll talk to you later on. No clear.
Yeah, morning coming fast, Nick. We know that. KSFQV.
AMX, I think you popped in there too. So over to you, sir.
Yeah, John, you and Mark doubled. Mark, why don't you go ahead again?
Oh, KSFQV, I said, yeah, morning will come fast. You know, Nick was going, and I said, morning will come fast. So, KSFQV.
Roger that. Morning does come fast. So, yeah, 11 o'clock, I think I might kick back and do something different. Really a nice night on the radio. John, it was great getting to talk with you this evening. Man, we beat speakers up. That was kind of fun. So, yeah, and graphene. That's incredible that you spent all that time. Again, I'm going to check that out. I think that's relatively recent, and it's an incredible material, the little bit I know about it. I know it's thin. Anyway, I'll say 73 as well. I just wanted to kick in the after party here this evening. That was a lot of fun. Although I understand Friday night is the after party night. I'm not sure. We'll have to check that out one of these days. With that, John, let me turn it over to you, and you can tie the ribbons on it, buddy. This is AA8CS.
Hey, Gary. Yeah, I meant to say earlier, I'm not sure of the year precisely. I want to say it may have been maybe as far back as like 2008. There were two, I think they're both Russian, maybe one of them's Ukrainian, I don't remember. I've talked to one of them on the phone, this one guy, Novoselev, Konstantin Novoselev. I've had a chat with him. Actually, it was a kind of an interview of him, trying to pull information from him in a good way. Neat guy, you'll remember these guys got the Nobel Prize for taking a piece of Scotch tape and pulling a single layer of graphite off of single layer of what we now call graphene off of graphite. The other guy's name was, I don't remember his first name, but it was Game. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like Game and Novoselev. But it was back in, I think it was 2008 or between 2008 and 2010, something like that. And I always kind of thought it was kind of funny. These guys get a Nobel Prize for pulling a single layer of graphite from pyrolytic graphene from pyrolytic graphite, and I thought that kind of comical. But having talked to Novoselev directly, I'll tell you, he's a really nice guy, an extremely humble and intelligent man, and understanding that whole area a little bit better than I did when I formed my original opinion. I wouldn't say it's trivial. It's not maybe the magnitude of some Nobel Prizes, but it is definitely interesting. But yeah, it's relatively recent. W2JLS, let's put a bow on it. Anyone wanting to jump in there, please do. We'll clear out.
Well, you know what? I don't know how I'm going to do an after party on Thursday unless you just stay there all night. Kill yourself, QV.
Mark, no rest for the weary, buddy. So no, I'm not going to. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We got Wednesday night with the Beacon Net, so we'll see what happens then. And Friday, that's been spontaneous combustion at a couple different instances on a Friday night. People just kind of show up. Kind of cool. Anyway, all right. And John, I thought it was relatively, in the early 2000s. So that does make a lot of sense. And I just, I know the only thing I know is that graphene is like one atom thick or whatever that is. It's the thinnest thing known to man, I guess, or something along those lines. That's about all I know. I know it's strong. I think it's a conductor too, because you were talking about that earlier. But anyway, it's interesting material, and gosh, to spend a lifetime or your career researching that has to be pretty phenomenal. All right, that's enough of that. We'll talk to you again soon. Really a pleasure. Really a pleasure. Have a fabulous rest of the evening, and we'll talk soon. This is AA8CS. I'll be clear.
WV3K once again. Gary, I just want to say to you, in short, as best as I can, that I want to thank you for the personal touch that you brought in sharing the story of you and your father. That really touched me, and I just embraced your story with a lot of tenderness. That was just absolutely fantastic, and I could say nothing better than to have such a beautiful relationship with your dad to bolster the bonds that you both built together in working together and doing fun things like that. That's beautiful, and I just want to thank you for being vulnerable, I guess, to a point where you open your heart up and you're just sharing some beautiful thoughts of past times. And like John shared with you, those are beautiful memories, never to be lost, never. And that makes me very happy to reflect upon my past with my mother, especially, as also a few things with my dad. Not as often; he wasn't around as much, but my mom. So thank you for that. Thank you very much for that. We need more of those personal notes to be shared with each other to appreciate what life, what the beauties of life can be when the human factor is brought into it. And John, again, thank you too. You're an amazing guy. I'm looking so forward to meeting you also, along with some other people that I haven't yet met, and I'm just really excited about that. So you both, and also Mark, have a beautiful and a wonderful evening. Sleep well, and enjoy any little sips of whiskey I can't enjoy. So anyway, take care and God bless, guys, and you be good to yourselves. This is WV3K, and I'll be clear.
Good night, gentlemen. W2JLS, I'll be clear as well. Gary, we can talk more about that, the graphene stuff, for sure, sometime. It's not how I've spent my entire career. Just the last 3 years really focused on that. But yeah, it's interesting. Graphite beyond graphene, I think, is maybe more interesting. But yeah, you'd like to think that one atom like carbon would only have a kind of a brief story, but it's nuts. It's positively nuts. The amount of chemistry evolving around one element. And you're correct in that graphene is a single, you can have a single layer plane of graphite in an array is the concept of graphene, but there are many categories of graphene. FLG means few layer graphene. But it's all graphite when it comes down to it. We're like splitting hairs on when you're looking at an individual one atomic layer plane thick of the stuff. That's graphene. Then you've got all these categories of multiple layers of graphene upon that. Graphene nanoplatelets could be greater than 100 layer planes, for example, or greater than 10 by some people's definition. FLG is less than 10, but greater than 1. For example. It's kind of crazy, a little arbitrary. W2JLS, good night, fellas. I'll be clear.
Good night, John, and thanks again, Phil. Take care and have a great evening. AA8CS, I'm clear as well.